see like one like horrible video where it did show like this guy's walking down the street, he's turning all of these corners, and there's just black body bags everywhere. You know, it's obviously and the faces are open. It's unzipped, so the face is exposed, and it looks like people. If the body was identified, looks like people were putting stuff on top of it to say like, okay, yeah, it's claimed now. And then he goes into the morgue, and you can tell from looking at the heads in particular that these were all traumatic deaths. Didn't die of natural causes. I mean, it was from that penetrated them, and you know, and of course, then they execute people all the time. They hang them from cranes for participating in these protests, and it's just like, well, yeah, we know they fucking kill you for protesting, whether it's with a gunshot or a noose. I don't know, maybe the gunshot might even be the better way to go, but it's there's no doubt that they will, if they feel like they're under threat, and I think they will do anything to remain in power, and if that means making examples out of people by executing them, mowing down protesters, absolutely. Do I know that the numbers are real? I never looked into it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's political violence. We have political violence here.
Regime. Like, you don't have to. I don't really even have to look shit like that up to verify. It's just stupid.
No, I get it, but what I'm saying is, on this app, I've heard it so many times, and I have just never actually confirmed it. But it's political violence, and we have political violence here. We have woke liberals and Muslims that drive trucks through crowds. We have random stabbings and murder everywhere, anywhere, all the time. If you look at Instagram and you see the horrific murders and the like, there are so many murders that it's beyond, it's so shocking. It's like, why the fuck do people want to do all this? What, you know, a woman hires a guy to kill his husband. It's like, I can't believe it even happens, you know, but people are willing to kill. And we have to worry about extreme political violence in this country. And if you're a Republican conservative and you wear a MAGA hat, and if Trump gets out of office and you have a rally, and next thing you know, you're attacked by a left wokist, I mean, it's the same. How is it any different than what's happening in Iran?
I wish for it. I wish for it. Like in 2020, you know, it's been like 6-7 years since I've been boxing. But like, I was still in like good shape. I was like, you know, I was ready for a motherfucker to want to put his hands on me. And so I would wear like, it's okay to be white, you know, like on my shirt. I'd wear my red Trump hat, and I would go out. Out of my fucking way. The only thing that happened is I'd hear a whistle, and people would be like, yo, they give me like a thumbs up or something like that. And like the cashiers would tell me they like my shirt, you know, and nobody fucked with me. And I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not that provocative, I guess. And I thought, like, yeah, it was weird. And even still, like, yes, if you were at the wrong place at the wrong time. But I just have a feeling, though, that, like, especially a lot of you guys have seen what I look like, and of course, you know, I've boxed for years. Like, you know, people, they wouldn't necessarily know that part. But I don't think I would have like came off of it as somebody easy to prey on, and so like who's gonna fuck with me? And yeah, I mean I would. But I know. With that being said, would I go to an Antifa rally? Oh, look, no. Wearing that shit now. Yeah, I'd get mobbed. But yeah, I don't know. It is silly. Like the fact that you cannot support. You've had like one man who's been vilified to be like Hitler, when he's like, which I think is awfully ironic. He's the most Jew-loving fucking president fucking ever had. Really. I mean, his fucking grandchildren are Jewish. His daughter converted. I mean, that sounds so Nazi-like. Like such a horrible guy. What has this motherfucker done to make him out to be the person they claim he has been? I mean, really. I mean, if anything, he's probably done more for black people than they fucking Biden. And, you know, it's just silly to listen to. But they are able to repeat something long enough, and they constantly, you know, say he's a racist, he's a sexist, he grabs them by the pussy, he does, you know, whatever. There's fine people on both sides. You know, all of this shit, and then people just believe it. They hear it enough. But in all reality, he's not, there's nothing about, and trust me, I would know if he was on our side, or, but I would have said on my side, you know, many years ago. He never was. Nobody thought he was.
Yeah, like a white nationalist or doing they were so underhanded, like he's completely gonna remove the black population. Like, this is crazy. And that's the thing, like, Pepe, you bring up good points, is I don't mind, like, people, if they're gonna argue, you know, things that he's done in a fair manner, and, like, it's, like, somewhat true, then I'm all for it. Like, let's have that debate. But, like, the bullshit that we've heard the last couple of years, like you're saying with the find people on both sides trope, you know that one? I mean, like, let's get real, people. Like, that's not what went down, really, you know? So,
and also those
fine
people in what bill? I forgot. Charlottesville. They were hired by this.
I don't like it. Yeah.
The
SPLC.
Yeah. To organize the event. So this is like the Wilkes hiring, making up the event, and also Trump brought back manufacturing, starting with the maybe not starting with one example. Big example is the TSMC Arizona fab, the plants. And this is not only manufacturing, but crucial for our national security.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing, is if you were to look at somebody who is, I'm like kind of become, and this happens to a lot of people. I would say I was like way more. I would actually say I wasn't a total white nationalist, and with that being said, like, I wasn't somebody who thought like you had to rid America of the blacks and the Native Americans or some of the Hispanics. But I definitely had like an idea that no, America should remain overwhelmingly white. And I'm gonna be clear. I do think that would still be optimal. But you know, there's birth rate crises with whites and East Asians, and you know, just a lot of things are happening. So, but it's a whole other topic. But I am somebody who would look at all of the people that would accuse Trump of being all of this stuff, and then what they didn't realize is that people like myself, a lot of us thought, well, he's better than the left by far, but we didn't look at Trump as being a fucking. First of all, he like to be a. When it comes to the far right anti-Semitic shit, you know, which is going to be more Nazi adjacent. He's a. I don't know how else to say it, and I don't mean this in a crude way, but he's a fucking Jew lover. That's what he is. He's a fucking Philo-Semite. The motherfucker's not a Nazi. When it comes to being racist, okay, I mean, at his age, was he perhaps maybe prejudiced at some points? Like,
wait, Pepe, I thought the Nazis were wiped out in 1946. What year is it?
With the Democrat, but like anybody else in the Democrat Party, like Bloomberg, we said, oh, we're gonna have the stop and frisk in the minority neighborhoods, right? When you can look at the Clintons and Biden, when it comes to the super predators, and you should listen to his arguments in the fucking 90s. That shit would be considered far right today. Okay, he's an old fucking man. Attitudes regarding race were so much fucking different. He's not any different from the fucking Democrats, you know, to be fair.
Pepe, the only update to the race debate is that white man is bad over and over and over again. Our mayor in Chicago constantly reminds us that sooner or later he's going to be able to remove the whiteness from us.
there is and that is kind of like a thing. Like there was this toxic, and it was enabled by white liberals who I don't think were even well-meaning. I
Jesus
think
Christ,
this
he's
was
killing the room.
this was like a power grab, and they
Why do you guys let him monologue all the time?
it was is
Because it's a Pepe show. Don't you know how this Matt Cool room works? First we had Ye. She went on and on for hours. Now it's the Pepe segment of the show, and you're coming up next, Rich.
You monologue for way too long, Pepe.
okay. I actually been quiet for a couple of hours.
I know.
Numu, he loves it. He loves doing this.
Okay, can you guys just move into the
It's
audience?
like listening to like
He's just interrupting. We're having a conversation. Thank you. Holy shit. So, yeah, to me it's just funny. I don't think he's this bad person they make him out to be. If anything, he's to the left of a mid-90s Democrat. So,
How would you describe yourself, Pepe? How would you describe yourself, Dr. PP?
I would say I may be similar to an early 90s Democrat.
Well, what does that mean?
See, I'm not a very, if you guys know this, Matt can back me up, Beaver can back me up. I've never claimed to be a conservative. I've always said I've been on the right.
You say you've always voted Republican. That's what you say. And you're a
Yeah.
Republican. So,
Yeah.
you say if you're a 90s...
Consider myself an actual conservative? No.
Well, if you're an early 90s Democrat, that implies that you're pro-abortion, you're pro-LGBTQ, you're pro-big deficit spending, big Medicare, Medicaid. You're just a liberal, dude. And I've always accused you of just being a liberal. That's all you are.
That's not the Democrats of the early 90s.
Yes, it is. That is the Democrats of the early 90s. It is exactly what the Democrats are and have always been. Big government, big spending. That's what you are. You're just a big government person. You're not conservative. You're not Republican. You're a liberal Democrat. It's what you are. Hello? Hello?
George Bush ramped it up more than fucking anybody.
Okay, and the Democrats would have done it bigger and better. So that's who you are. You're just a Democrat. Congratulations, Dr. Bippy the liberal.
Oh my God!
We got the Kamala voter on stage. Good evening, Rabia. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So she's running in 2028, probably, right? Is that what your impression is?
Well, pardon me. What is my profession?
No. Is that your impression? That she's going to be running in 2028, Kamala Harris? Yeah.
Oh no, I just said that to go along with the vibes of the room.
Oh. I was like, that's a big statement to make around here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm also from Canada, so I'm not too sure what the American politics are right now.
We're not too fond of Canadians right now, but all right, yeah.
I can leave. I'm so sorry. I can head on out.
No, you're good. No, I'm just playing with you. No, you're good.
Wait, what's the reason? How come Americans aren't fond of Canadians? Is that a thing?
No, we just like making fun. Like online, we can trigger them, but Canadians are they're the most similar to Americans of any other group, and there's some, I don't know. If anything, Canadians try to be like I'm just being real, especially young Canadians try to be like Americans.
Oh no! I think you got it wrong. If anything, Americans are trying to be like Canadians.
Not even close.
No.
Any music, fashion, anything that you see, it like, first of all, in the world, America is the greatest exporter of any fucking group, of just fucking culture and trends. And you guys are this small country that lives right on top of us, and
that's what name
like your guys' music. What is it? It's basically offshoots of American music. Like, that's all it is.
We have Canadian music. We have Justin Bieber. He's Canadian. Drake.
Okay,
Canadian.
offshoot of American music. Amazing.
Yeah, dude. All these artists are Canadian. I don't know what you're talking about. Dude.
Yeah, but they only
needed the U.S. to be able to do anything now, right? You know that, right? Like he had to come to the U.S. to actually make it big. It's not like he was in Canada.
Robbie,
He
It's Justin Trudeau. That's who we hate.
He went to America, though.
We hate Justin Trudeau and your woke government of migrant kiss asses, and they're just a bunch of traitors and cowards to North America. And we should actually just invade Canada and take the whole country over and assume your parliament.
I Justin Trudeau. He's so cute. Though. I don't know what you're on about.
Okay, you're just being a dirty whore if you're gonna like actually sim for Justin Trudeau. That is weird.
I mean, did you not see what he did to the truckers? Did you not see the mass vaccination? She works in nursing. She's a pro-vaxxer. Are you triple boosted, double vaxxed, Rabia?
I'm required to be.
Exactly. And you have no children and no hope of ever having children now that you're sterilized, correct?
I just looked at her profile. She looks really young. It's not really her problem at this time, I don't think.
She's a member of the House, and clearly, I mean, you're not a Trump supporter, I'm assuming, right? Even though
I mean, do I need to be a Trump supporter to?
No, of course not. No, that's. I was just curious. I didn't know.
No, I'm just friends with Beaver, guys.
You do what?
I'm just friends with Beaver.
Aw, Beaver. You got one of your super fans. That's wonderful.
Do you like Dave Matthews Band, Rabia?
No.
What?
I've been in these rooms before. Usually people are arguing.
Wait,
She loves the audience.
are you Persian? Are you Persian, Rabia?
Wouldn't you love to know?
I mean, her last name's Khan, which is like I would say Pakistani, but I could be wrong.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if you don't want to disclose it. It doesn't really matter,
No,
does it?
I'm Pakistani.
Oh, you're Pakistani. So you speak Urdu?
Bingo.
Hey, Dad, you got it.
And you're a Muslim. You're a Muslim, right?
Used to be.
Oh, you're an atheist now, or what are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, so you are a non-believer. You don't think Muhammad is the prophet and the messenger. Unbelievable.
Hell no.
Inshallah, if you were, oh my God, you could be killed for that in Iran.
As a Michelin, who stands up for Jews more than Christians, is it okay to say, like, Muhammad, he sounds like a scuzzy piece of shit. Jesus might have been, just like a con artist, the Tim Robbins of his time. Abraham, just another fucking, cult leader. And like, your religion's bullshit.
Well, you're a moron. You don't read books. You don't compare anything, do you?
Oh, if I read books, I'll believe the fables about Abraham.
Oh, the mythology? You mean the law that we actually all live by because it comes from books? Muhammad instituted the Constitution of Muhammad in 660 in Medina. You should go learn about the mafia don known as Muhammad. He's a scam artist, a fraud, and a mafia gangster. You can read the Constitution of Islam, the Constitution of the Muslims, the Constitution of Muhammad, compare that legal code to the legal code of Magna Carta, and there's your answer. Do you want representation and justice?
Wow.
Now, the reality is, though, is that I do sense that, like, you can be an atheist, and you can say, yeah, Jesus, seems like bullshit, Muhammad seems like bullshit.
Strike the master chord. Draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. O thou of the head of the hawk, thee I invoke. Thou only begotten child of Osiris thy father, and Isis thy mother, he that was slain, she that bore thee in her womb, flying from the terror of the water, thee I invoke. O thou whose apron is of flashing white, whiter than the forehead of the morning, thee I invoke. O thou who hast formulated thy father, and made
What were you guys talking about before I got here?
Oh, nothing. We're just bullshitting.
We were just saying that Urdu girls from Pakistan are the new 10s of the summer of 26. I mean, how do you look so hot, Rabia?
Oh my god.
He's a middle-aged white man corny.
Look at my red telephone in my PTR. That line goes direct to the Oval Office emergency room. We have some Clubhouse users that have been in the skiff in the ready room in the White House.
Situation room.
The Situation Room.
Yeah.
But anyways, Robbie, what are your plans for Hot Girl Summer 2026?
Being hot.
That's
There she goes. It's all a woman has to do.
That is.
No?
Do you know Jarl on the app? Or no?
Oh yeah. He's in the Bitcoin rooms, right?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've seen Joe.
He talks kind of funny and he's
Does he?
very left.
Does he kind of embarrass you once in a while though as a Canadian or like what's your
Matt, I've been off this app for like a few weeks now. This is my first time back on it in a while, so I don't remember too clearly. But if I see him, I'll let you know.
The biggest fraud on Clubhouse.
Hi, Batman. Tell me about you.
I'm not on either of those apps.
Well, maybe it's time to get on to those apps. You could do rooms that were who is the biggest fraud on X.
How about you host it and I'll be there?
No, I don't want to. Honestly, I even come onto Clubhouse now, just out of boredom.
You know every state has like a slogan on their license plate. I don't know. That's a thing, right?
Oh, I mean,
In the U.S.
Yeah. On
yeah,
our
I
license
don't know.
plate, it says
I think
beautiful
Donald
British
Trump is really
Columbia. So
honest
like,
about
it's
who
all
he is,
about
to
the
be honest.
aesthetics and like say like
I guess,
Alberta
I
will be the
don't
land of living
think about
stars
it
and
that
so on and
way.
so forth.
Especially when
So I think like
you have like
they
a
really
large
care about
family,
how
and it's just like
comes
this is the
across
way
to
you're
like tourists and
raised.
stuff.
No one has privacy.
Yeah.
Obviously, different dogs because
Yeah.
they.
You should come by.
And I was it was a bad area, so you can imagine that I was like,
So come on here.
they're just like, yeah, we want you to open and close,
I
and
never thought I would hear that. Clumsy ass kids. It's a good nightmare.
You converting to Islam is the wildest part of this.
Yeah.
Not even my mom.
And then I started debating the atheists about how I used to be an atheist, but then I saw the error of my ways. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey guys, I'll be
You're
back.
so silly. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry, you gotta go.
Yeah,
It's like not so serious.
It's only serious when you're shitting on religion.
Naftali. Oh, fuck,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
faggot left.
I mean, no, we love religion.
Who?
Yeah.
Naftali.
Like Natali as in I think Natali from Chillism.
No, it's
That's the
Naftali. He's super. He's like he's funny to trigger, but he's like he's also a Michelin John Kitover.
What's Michelin again?
I'm Michelin. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It just means like your dad's a Jew, but your mom's not.
Yeah.
So you're not like a Jew. But
Pepe earlier accused me. Pepe earlier accused me of not defending Christians. That's not true. I defend all faiths except Islam.
You will. So hold on a second. So a bunch of street shitting Hindus that worship cows and monkeys and 8-armed sluts. You also defend their.
I defend their book collection, but I do not defend the Quran or the Islamic Constitution of 660 from Medina. That charter and constitution is mafia, gangsterism, and tribalism at its worst. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. I'm putting the link in the chat. If any of you have never read the Constitution of Islam, this is now your chance to find out how to run the gangster disciples or the Satan disciples or the Bloods or the Crips, because that's all Muhammad did. He set up a gang. Hello? It was a fraud.
Amazing. How do we know Abraham wasn't a fraud?
Because you can read Genesis or whatever, and you can look at the law and what they're trying to say there versus an actual legal code put out by Muhammad in the same way that you have Hammurabi's code, Magna Carta. It doesn't matter. I'm just judging what's in the law books. If you've ever had to deal with the law and you've complained about it, well, you can complain about Islamic law because it sucks. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. It's just my opinion, of course, obviously.
I'm not a fan of Islam. Everybody knows that. But you say that it's bad.
The I know. O thou whose garment is of golden glory, with the azure bars of sky, thee I invoke. Thou who didst avenge the horror of death, thou the slayer of Typhon, thou who didst lift thine arms, and the dragons of death were as dust, thou who didst raise thine head, and the crocodile of Nile was abased before thee, thee I invoke. O thou whose nemesis hideth the universe with night, the impermeable blue, thee I invoke. Thou who travellest in the boat of Ra, abiding at the helm of the Aftet boat, and of the Sextet boat, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. It shed the darkness of blue light, the unfathomable glory, the untravelled, the unthinkable immensity of space. Thou who concentrest all the 30 ethers in one darkening sphere of fire, thee I invoke. O thou who bearest the rose and cross of life and light, thee I invoke. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 are the voices. Abracadabra. Strike the master chord. Draw the flaming sword. Proud child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger.
And come to believe and fight his battles with the belief that they go to heaven and fuck virgins.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bullshit religion, in my opinion, at least.
It's not just religion, it's Islamic Mohammedan law. That's what I'm complaining and critiquing. Mohammedan law, the Constitution and Charter of Medina, that document shows that it's set up in the same format as a gang. It's the gangster disciples, that's all it is.
So what about when Jesus, and I'm going to say, so you guys know I'm not very religious, but when Jesus...
Horus, avenger.
just don't listen to anything, just inject your little tidbits.
Of the sun, the glorious one. By thy name, Harmarchus, youth of the brilliant morning, I invoke thee. By thy name, Mao, I invoke thee, lion of the midday sun. By thy name, Tum, hawk of the even, crimson splendor of the sunset, I invoke thee. By thy name, Kefra, I invoke thee, O beetle of the hidden mastery of midnight.
The centuries has done a lot of fucked up stuff. And so, you know, it's kind of, if I argue a point, I know there's always, yeah, but the fact remains is that it doesn't surprise me you're not religious, because the more you learn about the Catholic Church, you learn what hypocrites they were.
Alan, Pepe isn't religious because he's an early 90s Democrat. Those are the atheists. Pepe is an atheist liberal.
But
Catholic Church, you can focus on those things, but you can also focus on the fact that things like the Catholic Church still has founded and runs hundreds, if not thousands, or over 1,000 hospitals in the U.S., never mind the rest of the world. And even in Henry VIII's time, the only institution that was supporting the poor was the Catholic Church. And when Henry VIII took over the church in England, he did away with that at all, and that paved the way for the poorer classes and the abject poor that you see in Dickensian novels like Oliver Twist or any of the other novels of that time period. So, yeah, you know, it's a mixed bag with the Catholics.
But I think the Catholics, like even my family, you know, which was more religious than me, complaining about, like, for example, my grandparents' generation, how you would have, and when it comes to America, we didn't have a founding Catholic population. I mean, it was an Anglo-Wasp population. You know, you had some Germans that were Catholic, and then you had the Irish and the Italians, neither of which were, you know, that great of a. Yeah, well, I'll just stop myself there. But they, yeah, they would, like, they'd come here by the boatload, and then what did? They'd have like 10 fucking children, and the Catholic Church would encourage this shit, even though they're like super fucking poor. And you know, and when it comes to even, I would say the Catholic Church, in my opinion, has always kind of been not quite anti-American, but they've always looked at America as like a competitor for their dominance and influence. And of course, they've had zero fucking problems flooding our country with, you know, millions of fucking third worlders to, you know, for so-called compassionate reasons. And yeah, and that's in line with Catholicism. We're all children of God and all of that stuff. That's fine. And, even the Pope that just passed away, like, he said that it's a grave sin to not be welcoming of the immigrants. And even, like, on my Twitter, it's like, okay, well, I'm a grave sinner, maybe. Don't care.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Catholic Church and the popes have always been political. They have never not been political. And I would go a step further. Their entire goal is the accumulation of wealth. Now, they do administer to the poor. They do preach the word of Jesus. They do use their wealth for good causes.
Hold on, Alan. That's just like your opinion.
They all do some very fucked up things with their money. And they also support some very fucked up policies in the process. And as far as supporting the poor, and we need to help them, you know, I just saw a video. If I can find it, I'll put it in the link.
Alan.
There are specific times. Let me land with this. There are specific times where Jesus said, "No, you're not supposed to help people, and it's a sin against God if you do help them." So this idea.
Okay, Alan, you gotta land at some point, Alan.
Is bullshit.
Alan, you're not going to believe this. I know you won't even know. I won't ask you because you don't know the numbers, but I did the data. I looked it up. Listen to this. There are more than 600 Catholic hospitals in the U.S. per the Catholic Health Association of 2025. The largest group of nonprofit providers. They care for over 1 in 7 U.S. patients daily. 2020 analysis found that Catholic hospitals and systems generate $50 billion a year in net patient revenue from Medicare and Medicaid. You want to know who the parasite is, Alan? They're not doing this out of goodwill and charity with their reserve earnings. They're parasites on your federal government, Alan. I am complete.
I mean, I don't think they're. So I love this juxtaposition that you're giving, like comparing Jews to Catholics, where yes, there is going to be some of that Jews do, but it's very.
By thy name, O Parkrot, Lord of Silence, O beautiful child that standest on the dragons of the deep, I invoke thee. By thy name of Apollo, I invoke thee, O man of strength and splendor, O poet, O father. By thy name of Phoebus, that drivest thy chariot through the heaven of Zeus, I invoke thee. By thy name of Odin, I invoke thee, O warrior of the north, O renown of the sagas. By thy name of Yahashua, O child of the flaming star, I invoke thee. By thine own, thy secret name, Uri, thee I invoke. The names are 5, the names are 6, 11 are the names. Abracadabra. Behold, I stand in the midst. Mine is the symbol of Osiris. To thee are mine eyes ever turned. Unto the splendor of Geburah, the magnificence of Chesed, the mystery of Da'ath, thither I lift up mine eyes. This have I sought, and I have sought the unity. Hear thou me. Mine is the head of the man, and my insight is keen as the hawk's. By my head I invoke thee. I am the only begotten child of my father and mother. By my body I invoke thee. About me shine the diamonds of radiance, white and pure. By their brightness I invoke thee. Mine is the red triangle reversed, the sign given of none, save it be of thee, O Lord. By the Laman I invoke thee. Mine is the garment of white, sewn with gold, the flashing abbai that I wear. By my robe I invoke thee. Mine is the sign of Apophis and Typhon. By the sign I invoke thee. Mine also is the turban of white and gold, and mine the blue vigor of the intimate air. By my crown I invoke thee. My fingers travel on the beads of pearl. So run I after thee in thy car of glory. By my fingers I invoke thee. I bear the word of double power in the voice of the Master. Abracadabra. By the word I invoke thee. Mine are the dark blue waves of music in the song that I made of old to invoke thee. Strike, strike the master chord. Draw, draw the flaming sword. Crowned child and conquering lord, Horus, avenger. By the song I invoke thee. In my hand is thy sword of revenge. Let it strike at thy bidding. By the sword I invoke thee. The voice of the 5, the voice of the 6, 11 other voices, Abracadabra. Therefore I say unto thee, come thou forth and dwell in me, so that every spirit, whether of the firmament or of the ether, of the earth or under the earth, on dry land or in the water, of whirling air or of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God, the vast one, may be thou.
Russian hospice fraud is bad.
Cadabra.
Every year, the Vatican Health Business Unit generates $50 billion a year in taxpayer revenue.
There's a lot to be said for self-publishing your book. You have full creative control and get to keep most of the profits. Who doesn't love that? But it also means that you're responsible for 100% of your sales. So how do you sell your book when you're a self-published author? This video is for writers who are self-publishing or thinking of self-publishing your book. In it, I'll share my favorite tips for selling your book and making the most of this incredible journey. Before we dig in, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the Kirkus Writer Center YouTube channel. We have tons of content about getting published.
We kick you to Pakistan. Now the Indians going to kick you to Bangladesh into the Indian Ocean. You dirty piece of shit. Rape. Yeah, you rape. That's what you guys do is rape. You guys love raping the women. No, that's all you can do. Rape is nobody likes you. So you get hey, baby,
Nick,
how do
you
I
have
look
some
today?
Molly photos,
Do
bro?
I look really good?
Russian hospice
Did I look really
photos,
hot when I was sweating?
Really
And my hairy ass was taking a steamy shit until I had that lovely curly chicken. Oh, baby. Oh, clean my ass so clean. Oh, baby, fuck you. You suck too much. You know what the Anglos did? You know what the Anglos did? They went in there. The Anglos went into your country, and they ended up going 1 to 100, and they ended up conquering you fucking inferior dirty cheats. You dirty cheats. Mr. Beaver. You dirty cheats. Mr. Beaver, you've never seen a beaver in your life. You've never seen a hairy one. You've never seen a smelly one. You've never seen a shaved one or a waxed one. You dirty cheat. Shut your dirty cheat mouth. Look at it. Shut your dirty cheat mouth. Mr. Matt, would you never smelled pussy? To what the racist racist that he was implying to? Hey. The shit. You are a pirate for last 300 years. You could not even grow a potato. You guys are still fucking dying of cholera, you stupid motherfucker. You guys are still dying of fucking cholera. You fucking worthless pieces of fucking shit. You and your goddamn diseased fucking country. You literally have to get every fucking immunization that is offered for travel, that's recommended for travel to visit your fucking shithole in order to inoculate us, ourselves from what a filthy goddamn group of fucking people you are. You filthy, ugly, disgusting, dysgenic pieces of fucking shit. You low-life fucking third world scum. You're the ugliest people with the ugliest fucking accent. You're fucking losers. Suck a fucking dick. Why does nobody want to be a goddamn Indian? Why does nobody mock it? Why does nobody, when do you ever see a white person or a black person or an Arab or a Chinese person want to be a fucking Indian? Because you guys are disgusting. You guys are ugly. There's nothing cool about you fucking people. You guys are fucking shit. The Arabs fucking use you guys as slaves. The East Asians fucking mock you. White people fucking mock you. Black people fucking mock you. Why? Because you guys are trash. You're third world trash. Suck a fucking dick. You can bitch about racism all you want, but you know what all races have in common? They think you guys are fucking pathetic, disgusting, ugly, and trash. Okay, I'm done there.
Alright, go ahead, respond.
Mr. Matt, my name is Marigon. Mr. Matt, send this cocksucker down, or because he's gonna interrupt me every time I'm gonna start talking, or I would not talk. People know what's going on. No matter a retard like him starts talking, I don't need to. Go ahead, move me down, Matt. Move me down. Watch. Look, I wanna watch every 3 seconds. He opens his motherfucker. Move me down, Matt. Matt, move me down. Move me down. He opens. Yeah, move me down.
Just mute him. Why don't you just mute him?
No, he can move me down. I want to watch. I want to watch this retard crash. On his face, and he fucks. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That was it?
He gave
I'm
me the
gonna
permission.
respond after McDonald.
Yeah, it's Maragon. Go ahead and Google it. It's a celebration for harvest, my friend. Which is October 16. We still celebrate that in United States of America. I am not anti-American. I am not anti-white. Yes, I am anti-Anglo-Saxon who oppressed the world for the last 300 years. And there is proper documentation. 90% of the people of the world on this Mother Earth, bottom of their heart, they hate the Anglo-Saxon race. You don't believe it? Wait till from African people, whether look what you Anglo-Saxon people done to Afro-American. That's just one example. Look how it happened. You went to India for 300 years. You start killing until a peaceful man emerged from that called Gandhi. And right now, everybody in the world, whether they're from India or whether they're Afro-American, they worship Dr. Martin Luther King. They
You
worship
think
a person
Somali's
like
from
Gandhi.
that?
Do you guys have any
What to do
white
the vacuum
person
up
that
business
people
shares 50 billion
think
a
of
year
it
in
big?
taxpayer revenue?
No. No, not white. Anglo-Saxon. Unfortunately, Anglo-Saxon have taken over all sides that you can see. And now this cocksucker, first of all, he comes and he says, oh, the church says, Lord Jesus Christ, or Jesus, well, I have respect for Lord Jesus Christ. He was the only one who got beaten up, not for our sins that the church says. He didn't want to get killed for me and you. He wanted to serve others. You stupid, Catholic person who have nothing to do, your leaders have nothing to do, just fucking the little boys. So as Islamic religious people have nothing to do, mullahs, ayatollahs have nothing to do than fuck the little boys. So as Mr. Guy is the rabbi, gentlemen, that's in the news in Bethesda, Maryland. He points cameras in the ladies' bathroom to watch the innocent.
Listen, as an Indian man, dude, you can't lie. Your people are super horny and do that freaky shit all the time with the fucking bathroom cameras. Me, go is. So don't say it's a rabbi or whatever. A lot of freaks live in the world, especially Indians.
Thank you for talking. I will block your ass off so I identify you next time I know where the fart is coming. We are super and Epstein or whatever the fuck is not horny, right? And
no, Epstein is horny.
Be Epstein and you and Mr. Trump, the president who I agree with his invasion of Iran. And I'm very happy he's doing that. He's not a super horny. And you cocksucker who opened your mouth, calling all of us, whether the 90% of the world is horny, you the motherfucker Anglo-Saxon piece of shit, pirate, thief, you're not horny, huh? So shut the fuck up.
Well, listen, I'll just say this, man. If you ever were to say that to my face, you wouldn't be able to say it again, and likewise with a lot of other Anglo-Saxons, so watch your mouth.
I will end my talk. You guys need to go read at least 1,000 or 3,000 books to get to where I am. And unless you shut this, you throw this. Let me take a screenshot of this motherfucker. And the other one.
Yeah, and also get this too. Get me saying that a lot of people just like they hate Anglo-Saxons, hate your dirty ass food in England, in India with flies all over it.
Shut your motherfucker, stupid.
If you're from
50 billion a year in taxpayer
why do
funding to
you
Catholic
have everything?
hospitals.
Why is your profile have Arabic?
He left just to let you know. Yeah.
He left. Yeah, he's from.
Alan, what do you think about 50 billion a year in taxpayer funding? Alan, I didn't hear your response.
I just thought it was funny to like see if I could trigger him.
Alan, I didn't hear your Alan, I didn't hear your response. What do you think about 50 billion a year in taxpayer funding to Catholic hospitals? Is it too much? 50 billion a year?
I don't know what 50 billion out of how much. What did
That's how much Catholic hospitals generate. 1 in 6 hospital patients go to Catholic hospitals.
God, $50 billion.
Yeah, so 50 billion in profit. So 50 billion in profit with how many nerds?
No, 50 billion in revenue, 50 billion in taxpayer funding. That's 50 billion in revenue, not net income, Pepe. There's a difference between revenue and net income here. I'm saying revenue, which is pure taxpayer funding. 50 billion a year. 50 billion a year. Over 10 years, that's 500 billion. Over 20 years, that's $1 trillion. The Catholic hospital groups have taken in over $1 trillion in 20 years. How much is too much for Catholic hospitals?
Joseph's, for example, that is here in Phoenix. It is the premier, at least in Phoenix, neurological hospital. Of course, they have a trauma center. When it comes to people with neurological issues and brain damage,
Yeah, it's all funded by taxpayers. Thank you, American taxpayer.
these are largely people with health insurance, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, it's called Medicare Medicaid. That's a health insurance program, you fucking moron.
John, how many billions equal $1 trillion?
1,000 billion. Hello?
1,000 billion?
Yeah. If you have 999 billion and then you add one more fucking billion, that gives you 1,000 billion, which is $1 trillion, you fucking nitwit.
John, hospitals in the U.S. get $1.5 trillion of U.S. taxpayer money per year. So if the Catholic hospitals are getting 50 billion, then they're getting a drop in the bucket.
Didn't he say that, wasn't it like an obscenely large percentage of our hospitals are Catholic? It was like, in other words...
No, it's 600. Yeah, I forgot the numbers. He came back.
But in other words, it almost sounds like there'd be like an underrepresentation amongst Catholic hospitals where they for as many Catholic hospitals as they were, they're receiving a lot less of the taxpayer benefits.
No, see, what you're failing to understand is the medical industrial complex is not just hospital groups. It's medical device technology. It's big biopharma, pill manufacturers. It's not just hospital groups. But Catholic hospital groups do take in over $50 billion a year in taxpayer funding. 1 in 6 Americans go to a Catholic hospital to get treatment. I'm just giving you numbers here. You don't like the numbers because it makes Catholics seem like scam artists.
Okay, are you a socialist or a capitalist?
I'm a capitalist, and I don't think Catholic churches or Catholic hospitals should get funding from taxpayers. They should make their own money, charge their own price. The government shouldn't have to pay for people's services. If they want to charge for it, the people got to pay it directly to them, not the government. Hello?
The Catholic Church, first of all, if you're a capitalist, hospitals need to make money, otherwise they don't stay in business.
Yeah, that's called wealth redistribution. Taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for other people's medical services. Hello?
Yes. Absolutely, we need to cut bloat. Now, until we get a system that is not using taxpayer money, then they need to compete with every other hospital, and there are 6,100 hospitals in the entire country. So 600 out of 6,100, well, that's about 10%. And they're getting 50 billion out of the 1.5 trillion.
And Alan, you'll note they actually don't have to pay corporate income tax because they're a religious 501(c)(3). So we get fucked on the income tax. Hello?
That goes to the churches.
No.
However, when they have a fucking business, it's entirely fucking different. Like, this is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Just like as a Jew, you can't say the Jews want to open a bank, and therefore we should not be taxed because it's a Jewish bank.
Yeah.
That law does not exist. It doesn't exist for the fucking Catholics either.
I mean, John, look, you have a point, but I think if we look at the numbers, the Catholic Church certainly isn't the most
Well, you don't know the numbers. You've done no research or comparison. I'm the only one who has presented any data, and I will put a link in the chat.
I'm looking at the data too, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think from my initial looking at the data is, that's an actual word, look it up, that they are 10% of the hospitals in the U.S. are Catholic hospitals, yet they are out of the 1.5 trillion, they're taking in 50 billion. So if I do the math on it, I think they're using less than 10% of taxpayer money. So at least they're not the most egregious violator of what we're talking about.
They do other bad shit, those guys.
I know.
John.
I know. Terrible.
Anyway, yeah. One question that I wonder if the room, this esteemed panel, John, particularly you, what are your thoughts? Why do we have to have for-profit?
He's like,
Yeah, it's because it's called morality and ethics, you fucking liberal tit-twit. It's called ethics. Go read Ayn Rand and learn what the fuck ethics are, you fucking tit-twit, socialist, communist, wealth redistributor. Okay, steal from me to go pay somebody else. All taxation is theft, you fucking idiot.
all taxation is not theft. If we were to look at, for example, we were to abolish everything from fucking paramedics, like fire departments, police officers, only the people who can pay for it can utilize the services. Yeah, we would absolutely. I can guarantee it. We would say like, no. We want this shit taken out of our taxes.
In many places out there. But you don't have to do it. I think I'm agreeing with you. Sorry.
But like when it comes to medical care, when it comes to just like emergency services, things that have to do with life and health and safety, generally communities are naturally going to want there to be a system in place to where those basic things are kind of looked after. And so I don't, he's going to say it's socialist or communist, whatever. But but using his line of logic, we're already a socialist country.
Serves capitalist interests. Does that not, like, hello, as you would say, John, hello?
Listen, we have become a horrific social experiment. We are no longer operating on morality, ethics, or virtue or natural law. The whole country is upside down. We're 40 trillion in debt, paying over $1 trillion a year in interest. We are going to we've burned up half of what we have, and we are not stopping. We're not going back to become libertarian and ethic. We are just a runaway Medicare, Medicaid fraud train. And I just pointed out that taxpayers should not be giving Catholic nonprofit church hospital groups $50 billion a year. Hello, communists? Hello, socialists. We will defeat you and your stupid ideology and your low IQ economics. You don't even know how to run a fucking business.
But this is the thing, though, is that like even the bone I have to pick with the libertarians is that you live in a society, and it's what's really weird is that you get people that want to live in a society that want to do their own thing, and yes, you can say it's coercive, that they say they have to play within the system. I've never heard of literally one fucking civilization where people did not have to play within the rules of the fucking system. Now, you can say that it is abusive, that is tyrannical, you can say whatever you want. But there is not one fucking society, and I know there's not, where people do not feel like their rights were not being trampled on, that they were not being abused, that the people above them were making rules upon them that were completely unfair and unjust and tyrannical. That place does not fucking exist. And so, yes, we get taxed, to make sure that very basic needs are taken care of, whether it's water, sanitation, waste, or garbage collection, emergency services, and then in most developed countries, it's going to be healthcare. And a lot of people on the right are gonna say like, oh my god, it's fucking, it's horrible. It's gonna lead to death panels, and which it has in some places. I'm totally against that. But no, I don't think.
Stop monologuing, Pepe. Stop monologuing. Listen, we need to end the annual budgets and go on a pay-as-you-go system. We have to stop these annual repetitive budgets. When you go to the hospital, the government should pay for it, and that's it. There shouldn't be annual budgets and insurance premiums and all the subscription service to medicine. When you need to get a service, you can get it paid for, but there's no additional 5 to 10,000 that the government is outlaying for you that you're not even using. That's a waste of our resources. And doctors are getting a free ride every single fucking year on our backs. I'm sick of it. They make way too much money and they don't provide any real service or medicine. Hello?
Yeah, but John. I am sorry, but look, John, when I have sex with my Mexican maid at my vacation house and get gonorrhea from her, and then give it to the Mexican maid at my main house, I want both of them to be able to be treated and go and get treatment, because I can go to my real doctor, my concierge doctor, and he'll treat me right away, so I don't give it to my wife. But, they need to be able to go to the free clinic. So that's why we need our tax dollars to go to free Medicare and to support the poor. So us rich white people don't get venereal diseases when we screw around with our wives, with our Mexican.
And to be fair, what Alan was really saying is that he gave his poor maid, a good worker, a venereal infection.
That's right, and
she needed to be treated. Yeah, it's because she couldn't afford it on her salary, and I agree. She should be able to get her.
Oh yeah,
because a dirty old man like you passed on gonorrhea or whatever to her. She should get treated.
Yep, that's right. Because and I left out that part. Clearly, I'm paying her below minimum wage because at any moment I threaten that I'm going to deport her. So,
exactly.
I've got that going too.
Okay.
Shane, what did I walk into?
I'm sorry, Marshall. I picked you because I thought it was smart.
But I'm just curious, is there any right-winger who can make like a moral claim why access to healthcare is immoral or bad? You can perhaps say it can create a strain on the system, but there's a lot of other things involved. Like, in fact, the American Medical Association they very tight. They try to really constrain the number of people that can get into medical schools, that can become doctors. So they rely more on PAs and nurse practitioners and.
I've never had a white doctor. I've only had Indian doctors, Asian doctors. Never had a white doctor ever.
Shut up. Business model. That's what you're describing.
The American Medical
that allow for more profit. Yeah.
The American Medical Association, in a way, kind of duly serves as a union where they are representing the doctor's interest, first and foremost. Where they want this really high pay, and of course that's you're gonna have to restrict the supply of doctors.
Years in school. I think a GP. I think a GP spends 12 years in school.
The problem is the government is creating this problem. The government is the environment, and we are all just parasites feasting off of what the government is creating the problem. Big government, big problem. Well, you're a 90s Democrat. We confirmed that, Pepe. But big government is a big problem. You don't believe in fiscal conservatism. You do not believe in fiscal conservatism. You're a 90s Democrat. You admitted it.
Oh, John, look at any company that sells shit to hospitals that surgeons use. I'll just focus on surgeons. Sophisticated equipment, devices, etc. It used to be that the surgeon's point of view mattered most. About 10 years ago, maybe 20, I don't know. That was no longer true. And the surgeons became the bitches of the buying organization. And they just kept squeezing and squeezing. I don't know why more conservatives aren't advocates for these poor doctors.
Because we're not communist, socialist, wealth redistributors, and thieves like you. We have ethics.
Okay, hold on. So what is it? We're one of the only countries that does direct advertising to fucking people and use medication. It's like this is a bizarre. No, this is where capitalism fucking does. Okay, people. So like.
You're just a no king's protester, Pepe. Stop monologuing. You're just a no king's protester. Medicaid, Medicare is a human right.
Jeffersonian capitalism.
Medicaid.
I think I have a pause button in here.
Hold on. I'll let you go in just a second. Just 1 second. But like Jeffersonian capitalists, they were they were considered very conservative. They were wary of big money and large conglomerates and basically people that would dominate in ways that where it would have a lot of impact on our politics. And I do think that this is absolutely what we see here. It's obscene. It's starting to be like more similar to very shitty developing world countries where we see the level of just corruption and cronyism and big money basically just running everything. And I don't think that is healthy for America.
So I don't think it's like just
hold on.
a better argument. Argument for this is that
Marshall, can you hear me? Marshall?
Oh no, Mr. Edward, I could not. Please go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. So my wife and I have a private doctor who would come to our home. I don't know if you guys know that there are doctors out here that you can actually do your own health care. You don't have to be part of any system. You have to sign up for your own company health care. You can control anything. And Pepe, just because they put something on the news, you don't have to buy that stuff. I don't care what they market. You still control buying power. Don't blame stuff on capitalism when you have a choice. All of us have a choice, whether you like it or not. Okay? Stop making up as if though everybody's forced to do something. No one's forced to do anything.
You're making it very dumb. Like, this is where I have a problem with conservatives, is you're making a
No,
dumb doctrinaire argument. But the reality is, though, is that when something's sexily, in a very sexy manner, when something's advertised to the average person, okay, to solve a certain fucking problem, the everyday layman, like myself, we are not a fucking physician. We are not somebody who's going to know, like, whether or not this is good or bad for us. We're going to see the sexy fucking ad, what it promises, and then, of course, they're going to go, it might cause, blood clots, yada, 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 yada. And then somehow we are informed to make our own decision. The reality is that people like us are not qualified to make our own fucking decisions when it comes to what are the best medications for us. We need a literal fucking expert. Somebody who literally they can look at us personally, on a personal level, and say, this is good for us. We are not medical doctors. We can't prescribe medications for ourselves or for others.
Pepe, I don't know what you're talking about sometimes, Pepe. Pepe, did you hear what you just said? You would rather put your... Okay, no, you did not hear yourself. You're telling me clearly that you're willing to put your health care in the hands of someone else besides Pepe. Because Pepe don't trust himself. Pepe actually believes there's someone out there that has...
Pepe doesn't know how to treat cancer. Yes, I'm going to value the judgment of people who actually know how to treat cancer over myself. Absolutely.
Okay, Pepe, Pepe, just because you scream and holler, don't make your point any bigger. Okay, Pepe?
Okay, who should lead when it comes to deciding what is best for my cancer treatment? Should it be an oncologist or should it be Pepe? Pepe never went to medical school, by the way.
It still should be Pepe. You know why, Pepe? If you don't have a medical doctor that's going to communicate to you, you've already lost. They practice medicine. They practice it. Okay? You should be able to read up on everything. You got access to all kinds of information out here. Listen, I'm not letting any doctor, and I have a primary care physician that comes to our home. I'm going to ask him every question possible. Why would you want to prescribe this to me? Why do you want to do this? My children, all of them. Why? Because we do not believe that the healthcare system in America is for healthcare. It's for insurance. I want to care for my health. And healthcare starts in your kitchen, not in the doctor's office. Okay,
sure, but if you had, let's just say, like, God forbid, let's just say, like, not you, but let's just say a person had brain cancer, and I have to discuss, let's say, like, Dr. Ben Carson, neurosurgeon. He's a black man on the right. He was, okay, now we have to look at, no, when it comes to neurosurgeons, they're amongst the most intelligent, most demanding discipline within medicine. Do you think that somebody like me, somebody like let's just say the average person, can actually, and of course this is a man who has, a couple of decades of experience, well over a decade of medical school and his his clinicals and.
You're discounting lack of ethics and morality and compensation packages from big pharma and insurance corporations. You're naive. You are naive, Pepe.
To be able to have, do you think he's somebody who's going to be able to translate any of this into terms that you can actually understand?
I think both of you have been speaking past each other for the last 10 minutes. The more salient point for your argument, Pepe, is that healthcare for people in the middle class is about 30% of their average income. Their wages aren't stretching as far. It's harder to afford that stuff. It's harder to make ends meet. So therefore, the government should pitch in that argument. We also have this problem where we already hit 100% debt to GDP ratio, where there will be financial repercussions later down the line. I don't know if it'll be in 6 months. I don't know if it'll be in.
You're seeing it right now in the gas price. You're seeing inflation everywhere as a result.
Shut up!
You shut up, Marshall.
So we're gonna have to deal with financial expenditure issues and
we finally hit it.
Matched our debt to GDP ratio, right? So we're not going to be able to fulfill all of the wild promises that we have. We spend most of our money on entitlements, then on interest in the debt, then on the military. So while yes, I feel like there is an obligation to provide some sort of salve for people who can't make ends meet in the most severe cases. It's also going to be quite hard to promise, noting that U.S. finances are in arrears.
I get what you're saying, but if you look at California, for example, we can look at so much waste and greed and I would say crony capitalism. It's just not even capitalism. So I don't really want to use that term.
Let's just do one of these things. Let's just do crony capitalism. What's an example of that?
Well, sure. So, what happens and this is one of the biggest problems in the large democratic machines that you've seen when it comes to Boston in particular, very old democratic machine. But even LA, it's just okay, you guys, you're all there for helping the poor, and the homeless situation, and what happens? A whole bunch of it is given. A whole bunch of the money is given to a bunch of people that don't do really anything for the fucking homeless or the poor. They make themselves rich off of it. There could be something like a construction of a new part of or a new freeway, whatever. It's just a bunch of. It's basically them handing the bids off to people that they're in bed with, and then it's nothing really fucking changes.
You gotta land it or make a point or something, Pepe.
Is there any specific law against this, or is it just like all kind of legal? And that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, I mean, I would say probably both. Like probably a lot of it's illegal, but like everybody likes to point, and this is when I would have to talk to leftists, years ago. They'd say like, "Oh, Scandinavia, look at. I think we should have the Norwegian model. We should have the Swedish model." And it's just like, oh, okay. So rather small countries with rather homogenous populations, and the reason why homogeneity is
Those are creditor nations with trillions of dollars sitting in Wall Street banks.
Now,
what is this, the Pepe show every night? It's a full Pepe monologue? On and on and on?
Yeah. Norway has vast oil reserves.
It's not good.
But when it comes to homogeneity, it's just like, okay, they have a homogeneity of culture. I mean, they all stem from the same place for the most part. They're rather egalitarian, non-religious, yet very, like I said, they are egalitarian. They're different. Very efficient. They're a very high trust society where they do not tolerate people stealing. They leave their children outside of a grocery store in their stroller while they go in to shop. I mean, something unheard of in most parts of Western, Southern, and especially Eastern Europe, and especially in America.
Yeah, Pepe.
And so, like you have...
Pepe, hold on. You're bouncing everywhere. I'm still on healthcare, Pepe. Okay? My question is...
Yeah. So the reason it relates to healthcare is that, in other words, you can have these high taxes. No, I'll wrap it up.
The Pepe monologue.
Societies where they do not abuse the tax
Just talk right over.
the
That's all
way
you
that
gotta
us
do.
Americans would. Us Americans are nothing like them. We will absolutely be corrupt and try to steal and funnel out that money.
Pepe, I'm gonna ask you a simple question, Pepe. Do you currently have any health care at all?
Yeah.
Well, who's your primary doctor?
I haven't seen... I don't know who it is on my plan now. I haven't seen him in...
Okay, do you have a PPO? Or do you have a PPN? Or HMO? What do you have?
HMO.
Okay, so my question is, could you elect not to be part of that?
I could, but...
Okay.
But hold on. If I didn't have the money to do it, what would... No, you hold on. Because first of all, you have to have the money to do it.
No, Pepe, what you do... No, Pepe,
We are cooking 90s Democrats. We are roasting 90s Democrats.
HMO, PPO, you're paying, right? So you have the money. Okay, what you're not doing, Pepe, is you're not shopping for Pepe. Pepe is coming up and talking about the system itself. The system is not making you, Pepe.
We are roasting PP, a 1990s Democrat.
You understand the difference, Pepe?
I do understand. At the same time, I'm not somebody who needs, like...
Hello?
You do.
Hello?
Pepe, you know why? Because you're
Hello?
really against capitalism as if though
Hello?
you purchase something.
Hello?
No one's making
No. I'm talking about people... I'm talking about the unfortunate people who end up becoming sick, getting in an accident, get cancer, that kind of shit. Like, I've never experienced that.
Okay, I got it. You have it, Pepe, but I can promise you, you use Dr. Ben Carson. Every family, you can look it up, okay? Johns Hopkins University, look it up. Every family that he did surgery on, he consulted with them. He told them to get second and third opinions. Why? Because every one of us in America have choice.
But he was also such he was a specialist in doing such rare things that...
I got it.
He's an exception to the rule. And by the way, John Hopkins will do really rare surgeries that other hospitals will not do.
Pepe, you got it. So Pepe, again, in America, we have specialists. In America, they refer you to other people. You know why? Because your primary care physician can't do all that. trying to help you understand that you, the consumer, you're still in control of all of your health care. No one's making you. Like when they told us to take the COVID shot, you know what my wife and I said? Over our dead body. They will never put anything in my body without my permission, ever. And I explained that to our doctor. Nope, you're not doing it, period. Okay, and we've never done it, and we never will. Because no one has a right over our health care, because we're going to give our own health. Okay? And if I need 4 or 5 different opinions, Edward is going to do that for Edward. Okay? No one's going to do that. There's no system, Pepe, anywhere in the world that's going to determine you got cancer, not cancer, what's going to be the best possible procedure for Pepe. Only Pepe can decide that.
Okay, so I agree with the part that ultimately the patient should have the final say. That's not part of contention. I believe that you should have the final say. But when it comes to the access to the professionals where, and I think you would agree with me, somebody who just, I know what you do for a living. I don't work in the medical field. Neither of us are doctors. We don't know what it takes to fight cancer. At least on the level of an oncologist, a doctor, medical doctor.
Yeah, 60% of chemo patients die from the chemo patient therapy, from the chemochemicals, Pepe. Look it up.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. But we would want to consult with them to make our own informed decisions. I'm not saying that we should be.
And chemotherapy is a $60 billion a year Medicare, Medicaid program. Pepe, you're just for big government. Just say it. You've already admitted you're a 90s Democrat.
Okay, so Pepe, this is my last thing for everybody. Hello, Matt. Hello, Beaver, everybody. What's up, Pro? Good to see you, Universe, and everybody down in the down in the bottom. Hello. But this is all I want to share with all of us. We hold these truths to be self-evident. If any of us believe that there's some central government somewhere, whether it's your local mayor, your local sheriff, your local police officer, or your local state, the congressman, congresswoman, or even your governor, or even the president of the United States, if you think that they have your interest in mind more than you, we've already lost, guys. Okay? What makes America, America, what makes our country, is that you hold the government responsible not to infringe on your rights. Your health care is your responsibility. All day, every day. We got to stop thinking there's some central government somewhere. And the bureaucracy that we currently have in America is not our system. It's horrible. Okay? We all got to know this. I'm not looking to any of our 435 people in Congress or 100 people in the Senate. I'm not looking to any of those people. Those people are reckless. And you know what that means? The word reckless? We have less of it. We need less government and more personal responsibility. I land.
That's exactly the opposite of what Brandon Johnson in Chicago tells everybody. He's putting together gangbanger payment checks to gangbangers to go out and tell other gangbangers not to get involved in shootings. He's building abortion buses with Greyhound. He's never said anything about the mass COVID-19 vaccination. A lot of people here still think, oh, a doctor is the best thing. They can tell me everything that I need to know about a big mass pharma mRNA spike protein that they rolled out across the whole fucking planet. And I'm going to believe everything he says because he's got the greatest advice and the best education. And obviously he's the best because it's so competitive and he worked so hard in college. Wake the fuck up, sucker. It's called you're a sucker and a schmuck, and you're getting lied to, propagandized, and hypnotized. Everybody knows what happened by now. 2 to 3 million Americans died in March, April, June, July of 2020 when they took the Zav. And Edward here runs a mortuary, and I'm sure he can tell you how many people came in after taking that Zav when they didn't have to take it, and they could still be alive today. Go ahead, Edward. Tell Dr. Peepee here how stupid this little fucking rat brain is.
You can go on bars. You can see all the vaccine injuries, people who actually died, young people who took the shot. Guys, when we decide decide that there's someone who has our best interest in mind, and they actually forcing you to do something, you know it's not good. Please, as Americans, please take your country back by governing your own life. Stop trusting politicians. Trust your own life. Okay? People like power over purpose. If someone wants purpose in your life, they're going to tell you you are 100% responsible for the outcome of your own life. Do not let these people lie to us anymore, because a bunch of them just keep lying. Okay? And I don't know why clear-headed adults, critical thinkers, continue to believe that there's some side of the aisle that's going to help you and me. No government is coming to your rescue. Make sure you understand that. The only government coming to your rescue is self-government. Take care of yourself, don't overextend yourself, and don't put stuff in your body that's going to kill you.
Well, that in Boston when the Democrats rolled that out, and that's not even a good comparison. That. Listen, big government, big problems. That's all you got to remember. The whole problem is created by the government budget. We are spending $2 trillion a year. We don't only collecting $5 trillion. We're spending $7 trillion every single 180 days. We create another trillion in debt. That's because we have no ethics, no good leaders. They're all criminal sellouts, frauds and scammers. They know what they're doing. They don't give a fuck. They're going to, and because maybe they can get away with it, and they are getting away with it. But is it ethical? It's not ethical, and it's not how you run a business. If our government isn't run to the same fucking standard as a pizzeria, we got a fucking problem. That means we are so far down below an iceberg of ethics. We're in the pit of hell of ethics. That's where we're living at right now, with people who don't even understand it, and they propagandize all kinds of bullshit propaganda all day long on social media. They don't govern, they don't lead, they just spew hate, lies, and as Edward said, it's not self-reliance and personal responsibility. It's lies and propaganda to gaslight you, to basically never admit that we are bankrupt and completely in debt and an upside down ethical society and an upside down monetary system. Hello?
Edward? It's your Brad. But Brad, there's a couple things that I want us to all know. I'm not crazy. I know that currently insurance companies and the government runs the insurance system, okay? But between the patient and their doctor, that should be off limits to some central place, okay? So I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but like I clearly stated, we have a private doctor that come to our home, or we can go to their office, and we pay directly. We're not part of the system in that sense. And everyone, and then you can look it up in your own community, I don't care where you live, there are private doctors today still out there helping individuals and getting.
They didn't have Google reviews in 1800s, Viking. Time machine where it's called efficiency.
So, Viking, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that the healthcare system of America is ran by the government, but it's not healthcare, it's insurance.
Yeah, that's actually incorrect. That's 100% incorrect. Like, that's so far from being close in the proximity of correct. It's laughable. So you do have a choice. You have an essential right to choose whether or not you accept care. That's an inalienable right. You can decide it. You can say, no, I'm not going to take chemo. No, you can't take my limb off. And you know, they're going to listen to you. And you have a choice to die with that. As far as the insurance, people forget like how quickly the actual conservatives of this country actually wanted the government to step in, particularly in the late 1800s, where they were adding things like trichloroethylene into fucking chemicals, silver iodine into chemicals, and telling you could treat it for rheumatoid arthritis. Drink mercury. They came in essentially where we're going to actually give people some kind of protection against this, and with foods, because you know there was an industrial revolution going on and toxic foods were being fucking sold to people and they would die in the streets. This actually occurred. We forget that. We want to remember some kind of utopia that doesn't exist. The government is the best purveyor
to monitor this. There's no capitalist system that could monitor the production of drugs. Google reviews aren't going to tell you something. Fuck, there was a guy on Clubhouse and a number of idiots that was telling people to just go into their backyard and grab the pine needles off your tree and make tea, and that'll cure COVID. He said this on Clubhouse for fucking 2 years while the whole pandemic was going on. Do you know what? That actually harmed people, because not all pines should be used to make tea, because some of those needles are poisonous. So again, when we look at this and say, hey, yes, does the government fuck up? Absolutely. Is there a legal method that we can recoup? There should be. There should be more proactive one. There's problems within the structure itself. However, what you're saying is all these truths be self-evident. That's not clearly the case. It was a manifesto that says that the country itself can be able to determine its own path and trajectory to figure out what's best for the people. Not necessarily to say, hey, you know what, the best thing is for your private care physician. Which, by the way, by 2030, we will have lost 65% of all PCPs in this nation. No doctor going to school, no kid going to med school is signing up to be a PCP. They just aren't doing it. You're going to see an NP, a PA maybe, but not a PCP. In fact, the whole insurance plans yourself are so regulated and so heavily constructed in certain ways in order to be able to afford the medical system that exists out there. Because again, the U.S. wants the best in terms of medical pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, medical diagnosis, everything across the board. So we fund it at an incredible rate. We give subsidies, we give taxes breaks, we give wholesale grants, surge dollars, massive amounts, more than everybody, just so you could keep the lifestyle that you have. So, and to prolong your life, which goes up and down depending on the year. People with cancer are now surviving much longer. In fact, it's costing insurance companies billions and if not into the trillions of dollars, because cancer claims are so now received that they have a longer life, they go into remission more. You have an uptick in successful cancer care. Same thing with, I don't know, musculoskeletals. You have more people going for hip and knees because, you know, why go out and exercise? Why fucking actually do it? You can just eat McDonald's, suck on Coke, and then they'll just replace your knees when you get 400 pounds. That is actually happening at a huge, huge massive rates. Women, overwhelmingly, they is now to the point of 73% now have complications with maternity due to the choices that they make in terms of nutrition, lifestyle, exercise, etc. Go down the list. So yes, the government does need to step in certain areas of our society in order to protect its people, because a government is supposed to be for the people, by the people, to help protect the people. And sometimes that government does need to actually protect people from themselves. But many people just go with, hey, I'm free, I can do it myself. And you can't. You can't self-diagnose yourself. You don't have a portable MRI. Those things are expensive. You don't have the ability to make pharmaceuticals in your kitchen with a microwave. You just can't do that. So yes, you do.
You know, Viking, you're basically just like Pockets. You're self-interested because you work in the industry.
No. So I appreciate what Brad is saying, right? But Brad, no one ever said about self-diagnosis. We have a private doctor right now, like you said, okay? Whether they run out or not, right now we have one, okay? So, and I am not ever going to rely on some central government. I don't trust the government as well as you do, okay? And I think that they lied to us as Americans.
You are entrusted. Every time you go to a physician, there is literally a language that the CMS, the Medicare's, Centers for Medicare Services and HHS, every fucking 3 weeks, update, make sure it's in compliance. They approve absolutely everything that's done to you. In fact, all of the procedures that you have done have a very specific code to it. It is a whole separate language. This code tells everybody, these are the procedures that you are allowed to do in this country. These are the things you can do. Anything not in this list, you cannot do, and you actually have to go seek authorization, not only from the patient, because Trump did sign you can do experimental, but you also have to get approval from the both the hospital, a lawyer, and they clear it through a government entity on the state or federal level. So yes,
Brad,
you are
Brad.
controlled by the government.
No, Brad, listen. We understand that the CDC, and the FDA have a
The
role.
CDC is different. That's a disease control center.
I got it, but we were talking about diseases, right? Is cancer a disease? Is lung cancer, heart problem? These are diseases, right? So
Yes.
these are things that actually come down. But for my wife, 5 years ago, found a lump on her breast. Okay, we didn't know what it was, but our doctor came, checked it out, took a little biopsy. Thank God it was not cancerous. But at the same time, for us to look at all the charts and read them with our doctor, we got to do that. And I understand what you're saying. There is a federal drug administration that's saying these are the different things that we can offer the patient. But at the end of the day, my health care is still up to Edward to choose what I'm going to do or not do. I'm going to
never stated that, but that has nothing to do with it.
No,
You never stated that you don't get to ultimately make the decision.
Hold on, guys.
No. What you're saying is ludicrous, Edward. It has nothing to do with rebellion against the government.
But Brad, listen, Brad.
No, Edward,
Brad, no, Brad. You can call me wrong if you want to, Brad. It's okay. I'm good with that. But you know what you don't get to do, Brad? Is speak into my life. You don't get to do that. You can tell me what you want for you, but don't tell Edward at 62 years old what he doesn't have a right to do. Okay?
Actually,
I'm telling you.
The government tells you what you can and cannot do.
No, the government don't tell me nothing. The government is infringing upon my right. The government's infringing upon my right.
Do you get to go out there and speed at 90 miles an hour down the city road?
Okay. First of all,
store without pay?
You know, first of all, I'm not stealing. I do obey the law.
The government doesn't have a right to tell you, but apparently they do.
Okay, all right. Viking, what you're doing right now is you're trying to make something out of nothing. Okay?
Oh, you're trying to just say, hey, the Constitution told me that I have these amendments and a Declaration of Independence, which you consistently quote as if it was some preamble to the rights that are given into this country, which is actually not true. The Declaration was a declaration to England for war, and you're trying to make that whole thing a juxtaposition on healthcare and determination as if it was self-evident that you can figure out your own life in terms of it and just seek out whatever you want to. When in fact, the opposite
Brad,
is
let me ask you a question,
better.
Brad. Brad, let me ask you a question, Brad. Real simple. How many uninsured people without medical care in the United States right now?
None.
So you're telling me every person in the United States have medical insurance?
Every single person either has private insurance or they are funded through Medicaid or Medicare, or they fall in lines to the various things.
Brad,
you can just stop right now because you're going to lose.
No, I'm not trying to win.
I know more than
I'm not trying to win.
No. You're not going
I'm not trying to win, though.
Declaration independent thing.
No.
You're just ignorant to this, and you're trying to do something that you're just wrong. There is not a single person that is covered.
I can attest on this stage, I don't have health care, and I pay for my health services with cash.
Wait, hold on, Joe. If you go to a hospital right now, you are covered under a government program called EMTALA, which is an insurance that is given to hospitals. Hospitals will also receive a subsidy for care for those that will not have insurance, so that they are forced to treat you. It is called a government reinsurance program, which actually backs up the losses. They will also file Medicaid to see if you qualified, or Medicare, depending on the condition and your age, et cetera. But generally, it would be Medicaid. Or if you're in a state like California or Texas, et cetera, they have things like CalMed, Florida Med. Texas has a whole fucking 800 programs of Medicaid. Minnesota has 5. And even if your children from birth to 18 are covered under a CHIP program, which is separate. So no, there is absolutely no one in America, even from abroad, even immigrants, that are not completely they may not be completely covered for the longevity of their care, but you actually are provided some coverage for either stabilization, emergency room care, or preventative. And in fact, most of the states get paid for preventive checkups for free for those of you that don't have insurance, depending on the locale you're in.
But Viking, isn't this? Hold on. I want to ask Viking. It's just going to be real quick, real short question. Viking, if I recall correctly, is your career has been in health insurance? Or am I wrong?
Has been in actually determining the healthcare policies for the entire nation and making sure each state is in accordance with that. So yes, health insurance for the nation at large.
Okay, so Brad, I have a question. Is there any person in the United States that filed medical bankruptcy?
Possibly, but generally that is not the sole indicator of bankruptcy. Generally,
No. I was very specific.
You asked a question that you don't get to fucking just keep going and go What?
You're wrong, Brad, you're wrong. I'm sorry, bro. You're wrong. You're wrong, Brad.
Actually,
You're wrong.
Because what
It's okay, Brad.
happens on these medical bills is that there are other bills associated with that. So they're not just medical bills. There's also fucking rent. There's utility bills, credit card bills, car payments, repossessions. There's a variety of that. And it depends on a case-by-case barrier. Now, there are people that do have fucking expenses that exceed outside of whatever coverage that they currently have, which may be a cause and contributing factor that actually adds to it. But reality, no, it's not usually the singular cause of medical bankruptcy. There's generally those, and it depends on what state you're in, because if you're in a state like Texas, you have a whole shitload of time before that even gets put on your record. And oh, by the way, they don't ask for, and some states don't even allow you to put medical bills on a collection report, so you don't have to actually fall into line with bankruptcy. Like, some states do, some states don't. So it depends on the state that you're in. But again, these are regulations determined by the government.
Yeah, so there is a cash market for healthcare, though, Brad. And I think that's what Edward was talking about, is that he has private care that comes to his house. I've talked about this before, that there is a network of private doctors that you can reach out to and be able to get healthcare through cash. So
you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah.
You can
so
have
I don't know what the dispute is, saying that it doesn't exist.
You do have a cash payment that can be made. Certain people who want to afford what we call a concierge service. And these are generally in upper echelons that they can pay cash outright. And these guys will, yes, they take that money and they'll use that as private. You can negotiate those contracts, but at that point, you're becoming kind of like an insurance carrier. They're providing you a service, you're negotiating your contract, and you're getting the services that you want. So in a way, yes, if you have the money or if you want to spend your money that way, that's entirely up to you. And there are providers that will do that. I'm not discounting them. But what to say is that there is nobody in this nation from birth to death that is not covered by some insurance program. The reason that most people say they don't have insurance is generally, and it's unfortunate, our government sucks at this portion of it. And I will agree with you, Joe. Our government on state, county, city, town, municipality, and federally does not tell people what programs they cover, and they make the programs so complex that people oftentimes do not know what they may or may not qualify for, or even understand what's available to them, because it is so complex, similar to the fucking tax code. And that is a major issue, and I will acquiesce to that point, Joe.
Yeah, so you're right that everywhere we
The government's so good that they're not even explaining to the people that they're supposed to be representing the complications of the healthcare system, which is kind of interesting, Brad, that you say all these things exist, but the majority of the American population don't know it.
The majority of the population do know it.
Everywhere you do walk, generally, if you walk into a business or even into someone else's house, you have bodily injury coverage. Also, when you're riding in a car, either your own car, if you have the coverage for it, but if you're riding with someone else, you have bodily injury coverage. So there is access to insurance coverage that you don't pay for all the time for some form of bodily
I wouldn't say that, Joe. You do pay for it, because each. So take insurance, take your population. Let's say everybody in this room, we all sign up for the Blues, right? We're going to sign up for Blue Cross, Blue Shield, because they have the better network to some degree. They're kind of shit right now, but we signed up for the Blues. We all get our premiums in. We'll say it's $1,000 a month, and we're responsible for $250 of that a month. Sounds like a great plan. However, we're going to have a $4,000 deductible on that plan because we have programs like, say, the ACA that gives an expansive list of free services that have to be automatically paid at zero out-of-pocket cost to you. So the insurance company is going to give you a higher deductible, but overall the long stretch is about the same drive to the ACA because this is how the ACA actually works. And then as far as your coverage goes, everybody in this room can go for whatever services they want to as dependent on the plan they pick within the Blue. So whether it's a PPO, an EPO, or an HMO, or if it's a stop loss in any networks there, or it's a curative plan where it just basically allows you to do whatever you want to. It's dependent on what that fucking style is that we all select. Now, some of us may pay a higher premium that have less deductibles, less copay.
No, I'm not going to buy a variable life insurance policy from you, Brad.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't paid for health insurance in 20 years.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean, but you are still covered. Like, no matter where you go, you are still covered in the event that, like, for instance, you lose your job. Your income falls below a certain threshold. You'll automatically go on Medicaid. Or if you get hurt on the job, there's workers' comp insurance. There's literally...
I've never accessed any of that stuff.
Workers' comp? That's unusual.
No, I'm a small business owner.
Oh, okay. So then you have your own liabilities. And even then, you are actually, particularly your case, for instance, the hospital that you go to, if you automatically go in there, what they're going to do is immediately either sign you up for Medicaid, and if you don't qualify, which if you're a small business owner that's there, they're going to immediately put you on the exchanges. They're going to immediately get you an ACA policy.
Brad, I got a question for you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Extreme emergency, so that's for extreme emergencies. However, due to, let's say I'm in a car accident, I'll be able to access bodily coverage from a car policy. If I slip and fall Walmart, I will be able to file a claim against Walmart's insurance for my bodily injury that happens there.
Yes, you have to call PIP or no fault insurance.
So there is health care that Americans can access outside of just their preventive care. And I think one of the biggest things when you read through and understand that we don't, pre-existing conditions don't exist anymore, I can go sign up for insurance whenever the period comes up at the end of the year if I have some sort of nagging issue that I have to do. And people can play the system that way. And that's where we live. That's where it's at today.
You can to a certain extent because most people do that at the end of tax season, just to let you know. And good luck getting into a provider at that time if you need something like a specialist, let's say an ortho or a podiatrist or something along those lines. Just understand that when you go to do that in the fall, the end of the term year, which will be December 31st, those providers, you're going to have to contend with that provider facility being on vacation. They do close down for holidays, and they are like triple booked. They just, it's amazing to me that people wait till the end of the year to get shit fixed around the holidays. You would figure you would do it in summer or, some other time. But no, people generally tend to wait till the end of the year. It's just a pattern we observe in the insurance industries and what we see across HHS and all these other states. Just, you guys wait till December to get shit done and you're rushing into the doctors when you can get in. But just know there's a long list there and it's a long wait time. And he may say if you have to come back for 5 more visits, but he's not going to see you until the next year. So now you have to reschedule that out there. So just be aware of that, Joe, that it is actually, you got to play that dice on that.
That's what it is. It's taking your own risk compared to paying someone for they're owning your risk.
Hey Joe, where does one even like begin to select their own doctor? Like, what kind of network is that you're speaking of?
That's an HMO or an EPO, which would be these kind of plans that really narrow down. They want you to have a primary. A PPO doesn't really necessarily need you to have a primary care physician.
But that's inside the system, though, right, Brad? Though I'm talking about
correct.
Outside. Yeah. Like that's what.
No, I'll tell you how I do it, man. I'll tell you how I do it. So now, I mean, clearly, I'm not an older person where I'm dealing with significant health issues. So I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it to people dealing with significant health issues. But if you're, of average health and you don't deal with a lot of sickness, I don't deal with getting sick very often. Look, man, if I ever have issues, say I got to see a dermatologist, call up the dermatologist, ask them if they accept cash, and call around until you find one that will accept cash. You'll come to find out that they'll actually offer it at a cheaper rate than what they would if they went through insurance, because oftentimes there's a false inflation that occurs from doctors' offices dealing with insurance, where they'll actually put a higher price than dealing with someone that I'm in and out. Let me tell you what, when I do have to go to the doctor and I'm a cash payer, I'm not sitting there for 4 hours. They're not milking the insurance company for how long I'm sitting there in the waiting room or in the office. They get me in and out in 30, 45 minutes and I'm done. Now,
I would be cautious on that as well, Joe. Just to give you advice, we do see this on occasion where doctors are cash payment and they'll say, yeah, we'll take cash. But it gets a little murky because there's usually checks and balances with that. So we have caught doctors and facilities milking people for cash. They do come in lower, and there's a reason for that. Lower just means they don't have to use their TPA, they don't have to use their billings, they don't have to use a variety of systems. Joe's right on that, so they'll give you a discount. They're basically cutting the top off of all of their other ancillary expenses or administrative expenses, which are fucking ballooned. Which is why you ask why medical insurance is so right. When Joe goes in for a $1,000 procedure, he says, I'll do cash, and he gets it for $400. And you're like, wait, what are your administrative services? Should be your next question, because if they're charging $1,000, the rest of that is profit, administrative fees, etc. down the list for the hospital. But when you do cash payments, we have caught doctors where they have purposely just kind of not giving you the full checks, and when you don't have the pre-authorization or the tracking on that doctor, where we can actually send flags and say, hey, this doctor ordered, I don't know, I'm going to make something up here just to be a little bit more hyperbolic, a gynecological exam on a male who went in for a knee injury, and he's charging for that. And so we see things like that with cash payments where the people don't really look at their EOB or their itemized list. They just pay the cash price and they're not really sure. And the doctor just made up some fucking shit, even though he went in and just did a check.
Hey, Brad, they're supposed to give you the item. Can they give you that itemized?
Yes, you are legally allowed under this nation to ask for all of your healthcare records and itemize an EOMB and an EOB. You have every right to all of your medical records, no matter where you're at in the country, what facility. Now they can charge you a small fee. I believe the rate is like no more than $20, but they have to provide that to you, the full transcript. And if they don't, they get held liable. You have the right to sue them. CMS will flag them and actually fine them, and it's a hefty fine. It's like in the $100,000 range for a violation.
Wow. Matt, here's some advice if you try to search out cash. Do not go to the biggest, most expensive hospital. What they often do is they charge for room rates. I mean, each room's going to cost them a certain amount of money. It's like a restaurant charging for plates. You know, they have a lowest number because they have so much clientele, is the patients, that those rooms cost money. So there's a low level of, if you have to be placed into a room, they're going to charge you $5,000. So make sure you're not going to a high end, the biggest hospital in the region. You want to find a doctor's office that you can get in and out of for any type of circumstance. You see where I'm coming from, Matt?
Yeah, okay. So, and like, And that's the whole thing. I do agree. Obviously, you don't want to be a person that's, predisposed to, having really bad health problems down the line. But if you, like you were mentioning, Joe, if you're a healthy person in general, this is seems like a pretty good way of going about, getting some insurance of some sort, or
Matt, the argument is about efficiency and cost savings benefits analysis. The system is compromised. The system has to be reformed. It should be put on a new platform. It should be taken down completely. Medicare, Medicaid should be relaunched. The fraud is $200 billion a year. That's $200 billion too much.
That's just a lot of inaccuracies from so many angles.
The fact that he's estimating there's $200 billion worth of fraud, that's just nonsensical.
Okay, go check your chat GPT. Do a little research before you refute my claims. I'll put the link in the chat, gentlemen.
Yeah. Okay. So just back to the whole thing.
Let me just offer a plan idea. What I'd like to see, and this has been floated over the last year or two, is where a company like Amazon can offer group rate plans, or a company like Walmart.
They do.
Where if you're able to purchase your insurance through there, you can automatically get into a group rate of millions of customers.
Okay, so Amazon One Medical, you can Google this now. It's 65, I believe it's 65 or something like that. There's a variety of these popping up, but Amazon One Medical, I'm going to give you a caution. It's mostly teledoc, but for those of you who don't know, it's online medicine. You can get a lot. You can get your pharmaceuticals there. I don't think it's a bad add-on to have. It goes with your Prime membership or whatever it is. But it's $65 a year for, I believe, up to a family of 4. You get a $5 prescription copay. That's what you pay, or a $5 prescription plan. I'm sorry, not copay. For if they have to refer any medicines to you, and that's per month. And again, that's for a family of 4, up to a family of 4. You will pay another rate after that for additional members. So that's just what Amazon One Medical, and it's a direct care network. They've already taken over Hackensack. Like, they're the primary direct care providers for Hackensack, Seattle. They have actual concrete brick and mortar, what we call brick and mortar locations around the country where you can go to and receive care, such as urgent care, etc. They are paid on a different pyramid than what you would see traditional networks, like the Blue, Cigna, Aetna, etc., Sun Life, all of these networks out there. These are paid on your condition code. So if you went in for a broken leg, everything related to that leg is covered under that insurance. That it's provided for that. So no matter how many x-rays you go, how many times you need to have it recasted, etc., all of these things are provided under that. And their medical providers are paid on a salary rather than the facility collecting rates per visit or per encounter. So this is a different pay network. It has some benefits. It also has some negativity. So it's a nice direct care providers can help you. They're available 24/7, 365. They're really great. However, you have to understand what it is, and you have to use it for what it was meant to be. It's for those emergencies or urgent needs. For instance, you're feeling sick, you have a really bad stomach ache, you don't really want to go to a doctor, you have to wait a couple days, go to an urgent care network or go to the ER. You can actually talk to them, they'll describe your symptoms, then they may say, hey, I need you to go in there, or they'll prescribe you a prescription to go ahead and, resolve the issue at hand, like an antibiotic or something like that. So, utilize it for what you want to, but there are direct care. And most of you, just to let you know on this one, when you have private insurance, like employer-based or et cetera, understand that there are benefits associated with those. These are called point solutions. These are additional services that you are already paying for with this network that you just have to call the network and get turned on. So, for instance, if you're having problems with a knee, musculoskeletal, you can actually have these solutions that will direct you to better care, additional rehabilitation programs for zero cost. Most of the time zero, or low cost to zero.
Do they have therapy services for liberal brain rot?
Yeah, or for crazy people that, have 30 phones and dance around and pretend they're a trans black woman. So, I mean, these are services that you can get provided for that will have.
Do they have detransitioning services through Medicare and Medicaid?
Yeah. Why do we allow this guy on stage?
Why do we allow you on stage when you make death threats?
I mean, how's that congressional run?
Because to make death threats on Clubhouse violates Federal Code CR 38.02. It is illegal to make online death threats online. Many of you think that I am point, but I am not a gay man living in my mom's basement. I'm not a black woman. And Brad is an insurance expert because he denies young children health insurance claims. That's what he does. He's a health insurance denier. He ruins people's days and he says, sorry, ma'am, we couldn't insure you for the full amount. That's what he does for a living, ladies and gentlemen. He's an expert in denying claims. He's an expert in denying claims. That's not a career, denying claims for children, hurting children's lives by denying them.
Like, anyone, you can go see this on his little Instagram thing. When we look at this, like Joe's right, you can pay for care. Beaver, the same with you. I just caution you, like, before you go ahead and do that other viable options as well, because you may not have to pay that huge tax. You may be able to get like a direct care option that'll even mitigate it further for a cheaper rate.
I'm gonna ask
How
something really stupid.
dare you mock me?
With any of these things that you guys are
How
saying,
dare
obviously,
you
I'm
mock
assuming
me?
if, say I had a heart attack or something, like all those things are out of the picture, right? Like,
What do you mean out of the picture?
Well, I mean, I can't go to pay cash. So
You're covered automatically. If you didn't, it's called EMTALA. You're qualified under EMTALA for stabilization and emergency treatment for any kind of condition that may affect you in the nation, regardless of your citizenship. So it doesn't.
What's the name of that? What is
EMTALA, EMTALA.
I've never heard this shit before. Okay.
Again, most people aren't aware of it. We did, I think KK made me hold rooms and talk about it one time, and we actually had a pretty big room. And I was helping some people with their medical claims and some of their, I'm not a doctor. I don't work in trying to fix you. So like you need a doctor for that. But trying to navigate your healthcare system, navigate your insurance, I have helped. And I even helped doctors on here who were complaining of getting their own claims paid for the services they rendered. I helped them with the insurance companies reviewing them because it's just, it's a system, it's a big system, and it's clogged, and it has a lot of work to be done. But I know a lot of people are not going to take it. It's probably the best system for the amount of people we have in the world. It's just too expansive, especially for the lifestyle that Americans take. Like, we want zero accountability, but we want to be treated like, I don't know what to tell everybody. Like, you need to eat healthy if you wanted universal payment.
I think if people were healthier, the cost would go down, right? I'm just throwing out things that are like kind of probably pretty logical, possibly. I don't know. Would that be a possibility? Someone's giving me an X.
No, yes, that would definitely. Like, if we cut down sodium, if we cut down like the massive amounts of food, like if you go to a supermarket and you see a roll full of cereal, that's not healthy. You're not feeding your kids healthy. It's just you're packaging sugar with bran flakes. Like, that's all you're doing. You're buying soda. Like, the best thing, and one of the best decisions, even though everybody's gonna hate me for this, is under SNAP. They stopped giving soda and chips and junk food in general.
About that, yeah.
And people are bitching about it, and I'm sitting there going, do you understand what they're doing? They're saying you're buying processed foods instead of the actual agricultural products that will help your body.
They were freaking out in another room, the opposite view of us in this room, and or at least they were fighting amongst each other over that very thing. Like, they're complaining about that. I'm like, that's like, you would want to have people healthy, because like you don't give them sodas and donuts as a as a way out of like, not being like looking at themselves like in a healthy way at all. I mean, this is weird. I don't know why people, like you're saying, why they're complaining about that,
Because there's so many people that want a happy pill. Like, you go to the doctor and you just expect them to fix it. Like, one of the great things that happened under Trump too, and this is why I give the guy a lot of props. You have your right to try. So any experiment out there, you have your right. He also gave veterans the ability to go anywhere they need to. He also did this expansive little resolve that nobody kind of like appreciates. Is he? Let me come back to you. Give me a.
Yeah, no problem.
Wait. Say your last part again before I went on, because like it just slipped from my head.
I think I was. Oh, dude, we were talking about the food nutrients and SNAP and all that kind of stuff.
Hey.
Why the complaints? Yeah.
Matt, you know what's crazy is the NAACP sued to get cola back on.
No, don't say that. Are you kidding me?
Yes, they did. They said it was racial discrimination.
No, you gotta get by
Yes.
that article.
What? That's
insane.
Yes.
How long
And then
ago was that? I do kind of remember something. That was like a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, I'll put the information in the link because I heard it on a podcast and I'm like, no way. And then I looked it up and I'm like, holy shit. So what it was, they Coca-Cola is actually, they lobbied the NAACP and said, hey, we support you. We want you to basically do this whole PR campaign to say it's racist to take away soda from SNAP benefits. And that's the only reason why they did that. Isn't that crazy?
Bullshit.
Actually,
To be honest.
stores, it's buy 3 Coca-Cola and get 3 free.
Yes, Coca-Cola is going down. Soda and junk food in general, I guess, is going down. People are saying it across. You can see that. I have it in my office. They're like, oh, some guy came out. He's like, oh, we got chips there, 50 cents in the vending machine. And I was like, yeah, but you have an apple. You have an apple right next to it for 10 cents. You could get the apple. Like, it's still cheaper. The apple.
So, it's in the government's best interest to make sure its people is in the best shape and best, ability to be healthy. So, why hasn't, if we're so big on, like, the government, or at least for some people, that the government should be doing things for us, why shouldn't that be one of the things that they probably should be doing for us? Is like, I don't know, maybe free gym membership. I don't know what's the story on that. Like, why isn't there a bigger push to, as Adams would put, help the big backs? You know what I mean? Like, let's slim them down a little bit.
Not the big back.
Actually, there was a pushback against it. We used to have the Presidential Fitness Awards. We used to have accommodation. Go look at gym class in 1950s versus gym class today. It'd be crazy.
Oh, by the way, do they still have the little fat? Remember, I don't know how old you are, Viking, but I'm probably gonna age myself here. But do you remember the little tool they used to have to measure your fat? That we still
the BMI.
Yeah. Do they still do that? No.
I don't know if they do it in school. I haven't been around school. So.
Yes,
Matt.
They did. I was gonna say they probably would be against that.
Matt, I have a question.
Yeah.
Matt, I have a question for you.
That little tool. What's up?
So isn't President Trump, isn't he a fatback too?
Who is that?
Who's Chump?
Yeah, we don't know Trump. Who is that?
Yeah, isn't the President Trump of the United States, isn't he a fatback?
I don't know who
we don't know who
Well, he's 90 fucking years old, so I guess he could get as fat as he wants to. He's actually earned it. So, I mean, he never smoked or drank in his life. He doesn't do that shit.
He never did anything athletic in his whole life. He does the military. He does the military. He's a draft dodger.
He's a great golf player.
Jimmy Carter was like top 5 for president. It's still. So what does that have to do with anything? I'm just saying, we're talking about fatbacks. You're bringing up individuals. The president of the United States is probably the fattest person on the planet right now. That the fattest person on the planet that runs a country, or so to speak, runs a country.
But he's also living to 90-something years of age, which is actually above average. He's well above average, actually. And he's in health, has all his faculties, and is, oh, by the way, President of the United States. So when you're 90 years old and running a country, playing golf every other day, taking care of things, talk shit, but I mean,
Yeah, but 78-year-old man running a country, that's really, that's a great milestone, ain't it? But that was the same age as Joe Biden. Yeah, Biden's an old piece of shit.
Biden playing golf 5 years ago, 8 years ago.
He could have brought a bike. Remember he fell over with the bike?
Playing golf
he fell off a bike.
Oh, that's right. He fell off his bike. He fell on the beach. Not
Strength of my strength.
Biden is not happy.
Draw the flaming.
Hello? You know it's bad when you have a bunny.
Strength.
President under 60.
We need a president under 60, honestly.
We've had shitty ones that have been under 60. We've had great ones that have been above 60. It doesn't matter. So I want the guy that's best to do the job and is actually going to care. And honestly, if they're I don't like FDR, but I'm glad he fucking said, you know what? Fuck this. You attack Pearl, we're gonna fucking drop 2 bombs on you and show you how your shadows stick to the sidewalk. I'm pretty okay with that.
Oh, so you're okay with someone flying over military bases in front?
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
This is why it matters. Because when you don't have a president under 60, you have characters like Joe Biden, who completely embarrasses us in front of the world for 4 fucking years. Because he can't put a full sentence together, right? And other things that he does with his dementia and so on and so forth. So,
I
think
that it's because of because we don't want to be embarrassed because of Joe Biden, or is that more of a reflection of us as voters? The only reason why Joe Biden was president was because of the voters.
Well, technically that was because of Clyburn. That was Clyburn that delivered fucking Joe Biden to the office. It had nothing to do with Joe Biden. The No Malarkey tour did not fucking win votes.
Change.
It wasn't just there should be an age math of president, because ultimately the reason how we got here and how our country as a whole got to where it's at now is collectively all of us did this, right?
No.
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 Biden's cancer diagnosis? I haven't heard anything. It's been a year.
They turned the page from that, Joe. Turned the page.
He was just at an event where he called another black man Barack, and it wasn't Barack. So
That was so funny.
There was just a 60-minute one where they interviewed all the presidents in history that are still alive. So Bush, Jr., Barack Obama, Clinton, and is it so far? Yeah. All of them. They interviewed all of them, and he seemed pretty okay, way better than we were talking yesterday. Probably, because it's only short clip like each one, you know, like the questions that they were asked. But he looked like he was coherent.
Not for like a one-off, but what they were doing before when he was running was, or president, they were juicing him up every other week, and his body couldn't maintain.
Yeah, that's true.
Real quick, back to the weight thing. So, Char, I mean, actually, I don't know, how old is Prisker, the Chicago dude? Does anybody know how old he is? He's just a huge fat dude.
I think he's in his late 60s, 70s.
Okay, I think he's in his 60s, so I think I'm safe to say this. And then, of course, Christie, all these guys. Like, I mean, one thing, Char, if like, you know, if they're in their like 50s and 60s and they're like, you know, that weight, I hear your point on that. But like, if they get into their 80s and 90s, like at that point, like Brad's saying, like who really cares? You get that, don't you, Char? No.
No. Well, okay. Here's the deal, right? The older you get, the more conscientious of your diet you should be. Because your immune system, your arteries, everything, right? Your big and small intestines, right, begin to cease function the way it used to be when you were younger, right? So when listen, you shouldn't be fat to begin with, right? You're supposed to be as in shape as you possibly. When you're going around eating McDonald's and promoting shit that literally has cancer in their damn food, right? As a 70-something-year-old man, or 70-plus-year-old man, like that's not a good precedent. And usually people who are of that age, they begin to draw back from eating a lot and eating a lot of that stuff because that shit's gonna like your immune system's not gonna be there to defend that shit. So technically, I mean, you should be getting skinnier. Honestly.
He's better off eating McDonald's every once in a while than drinking alcohol, right? He doesn't drink. He doesn't do any type of drug. So that's his vice, McDonald's. Big whoopee goes in and out of his system.
Wait, Graham, did you get a new account?
Yeah, this is a new account. This is my second account. I don't feel like being on that other one.
Why? What happened?
Wow.
No.
You're really winning people over around here, aren't you, Char?
Yeah, why? You couldn't get it or something?
No, I just feel like using this account. I got two phones, so I'm just doing some on the other phone, so.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the SCOTUS ruling today? They told Louisiana they can go ahead and use the new.
What was the topic? I missed it completely. Can you share, please, Beaver?
Yeah. Let me see.
DOJ claims to be enforcing it. They're going to put on the states that they have to get rid of the racial congressional officers.
They blasted
the gerrymandering.
So are we racist for this, guys? Are we racist?
I hope so.
For wanting to get rid of color. What's that, Char? Are we all racist?
Well, yeah, we're the human race.
Knee-jerk reaction. Oh my god.
What is that?
They blasted her dissent. They humiliated her in the dissent. They pulverized her.
What was the what was it? 6-1?
6-3.
6-3. Sorry.
So the Supreme Court justices are fighting now as up there how they're taking shots at each other is pretty legendary right now. I'm getting a kick out of this. This is just amazing.
Wait, what? The Supreme Court justices are doing that now on Twitter? What?
Well, I don't know.
No.
It's not on Twitter going back and forth. I'm saying that's what being reported.
Oh.
Like Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas, Ketanji Jackson's dissent, they called it triple at best and others baseless and insulting. And then they didn't like, they said, the dissent goes on to claim that our decision represents an unprincipled use of power. That is a groundless and utterly irresponsible charge. And then it goes on to say, basically she said that Louisiana should go ahead and ignore the ruling. And they called that out too. She has no business being on the bench.
Correct. So, which states are looking to? I guess DeSantis, by the way, the last couple hours either has done it or is in the process of redrawing his particular.
It's on DeSantis'
I did that
desk.
right?
It's on
You
his
already did
desk.
it?
No, he hasn't signed it.
I think
It's on his desk.
I think Virginia's doing it.
Virginia, and then Alabama's already doing it.
Virginia got to stay, so that I don't think that went through yet. I don't think they had the court cases yet.
How about Tennessee? Was I hearing right that they were trying to do that Tennessee?
Well, I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, maybe I was just hearing something about Nashville.
But no, you could be right. You could be right.
Here, I pulled up the list. So I have Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, New York, and North Carolina, Texas, Ohio, and South Carolina, California, Michigan, and Arizona.
Yeah, they already did California a while ago. The Republicans got screwed.
Are we going to win midterms though now? Like, doesn't this help us?
Helps us some.
I don't know, man. Bowling's awful.
Look at guys.
I think it's a coin flip still. I still say power's going to shift 3 to 4. I just don't see. I'm like I know the polling's all over the place, but I just don't see Democrats with like some unified message on I hate Trump. Like they're trying to make the Iran war like stick and create dissent, but outside of that, I mean, they're still running on anybody but Trump. Spirit Airlines, they tried Hakeem Jeffries and company tried to use that as look at what Republicans did, but really it wasn't them. And people actually know this now. They're like, yeah, that was Elizabeth Warren with her high cheekbones. So, I mean,
there's also some Democrat runoffs in different areas. Some of them being the DSA, and then just the regular Dems. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins those seats, who wins the Democratic vote. What was it in Michigan? There's an extreme one, and then in Maine, that one socialist guy, he's the only one. The other lady, the current governor of Maine, she dropped out.
So, like Beaver's saying, like, so what's the chances right now? I don't even know what the odds are or what the percentages of the Democrats taking over Congress. I don't even know what we're at.
Well, traditionally, in midterms, the president, whatever the party the president is, they usually lose the midterms. That's just history.
Right. That's the way that the pattern's always been, if I recall right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Largely because the ruling party doesn't follow through with their promises. The issue with the Iran war is it's just not popular. Trump didn't sell it out. You know, the only message he's really hit on is that we're going to Iran getting a nuclear weapon. However, that's not resonating with the younger voting bloc, Trump supporters, largely because they interpreted, and you can blame the voters, but this is how it's been largely interpreted. When he said no new never-ending wars, people heard that as no new wars, and he's done, put himself in a corner with this, and the polling is looking terrible. I can tell you that right now.
I
I know in Michigan, I've been watching it for like 2 months. Every week, um, the the Democrat, the person that's running for the Democrat Party for governor and in Congress, those people have been losing in the polls to all of JD Vance's and Trump's um, selected ones that they've endorsed consistently every week for 2 months. So the Republicans are winning in that state.
Thank you, Ann. Joe, we talked maybe.
People that are sorry.
Oh, no, no, go ahead, go.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment on about Michigan. I don't remember all the guys' names. I would have to go onto my Twitter and look through my tweets. But some of the Republicans that are running are like total grifters in Michigan. So be careful.
Yeah, Coco, I've been voting obviously for John James, but I'm like disappointed he is leading in the polls for us right now. But I'm I'm just like he's like the best option, but he's not a great option
Chicago
at all.
spends 36 million a year on financial advisors to manage 13 billion in stocks
There's
and
like
bonds.
like Democrats
Bro,
are not
Chicagoans want to elect the mayor,
Democrats.
sure, I would liquidate the 13 billion in assets. What is it, historical high, and refund to all pension contributors.
Yeah,
Unfunded pension liabilities will
a
be
lot of them
suspended
are like
temporarily and funded
extremists,
with
like
the now saved asset
Like
management funds.
Terry Johnson, get out of here. Terry Johnson, like the one that I came to, who's the extremist that is running as a Republican. He's awful.
yeah. There's a couple of them that are really horrible. Um, yeah. So yeah, whatever. Just be careful.
Yeah, but that doesn't make me want to vote for Jocelyn.
Oh yeah, Joe. So what we were talking about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, is are you know the thing we talked about where we need something to change the tide, and you know what I'm talking about, like with the James Comeys of the world or whatever it might be. Um, Things are kind of bubbling up a little bit on that, but nothing's really broken. But it sounds like it's moving toward that way. Do you have any more thoughts on that? Because that was a couple of months ago that we talked about that. Any kind of like change of time to this at all or no?
Well, what they're going to face is, regardless of what was delivered policy-wise, which the Republicans, we delivered them a majority, and they've largely failed on codifying Trump's agenda. So this doesn't resonate where voters are enthusiastic about voting Republican. And then on top of that, if we go into the summer with high gas prices, and election season's right around the corner. We have primaries running, and then general election kickoffs will happen in August. So the last barrel of oil that had left through the Strait of Hormuz arrived on Friday. So now the real economic impact of the Strait of Hormuz being shut down is about to start setting in throughout the world. So you're going to start to probably see gas prices over the next month increase. It will come down to the same thing, regardless of how well, policy issues, if the Republicans pull through on anything over these next 6 months, if the economy is not benefiting people, they're going to hold the Republicans accountable for that. Like part of the allure of voting for Trump was reliving 2018, 2019's economy. And that hasn't resonated on Main Street. It has on Wall Street, but it hasn't on Main Street.
That is true.
Look, I think some of the long-term investments and things are fantastic. Vikings talked about this, the $21 trillion. These are things that set up Americans for years to come. I think if Trump sold the war better, that look, we're worse off if we lose the petrodollar than we are if we don't. When Saudi Arabia was just a few years ago flirting with not selling oil in the American dollar anymore, that would ruin our economy. And the only way we're able to keep propping this up is by the end of the barrel of our gun that we have the strongest military in the world. We owe a lot of money. So the cost of inflation that they printed, how much money's been printed over the last 6 years, it's starting to catch up. And we probably are going to face every 18 years there's a housing cycle that occurs, and we're kind of at the end of that tier of that housing cycle where housing prices have to grow. So it's almost like it's all the Senate leader, it was pretty clear that it was going to be business as usual in Washington.
Well, it's also not like we had large term margins, right? Like, we had a 1 vote majority in the House, we had a 3 vote majority in the Senate, and they weren't going to blow the filibuster up because it would come back to bite us in the ass when the Democrats needed to force all their legislation down our throat.
I mean, what it comes down with is you got to make a lot of promises to build a coalition with the presidency. And what you're starting to see in the polling, it's the group of the Mahas, right? The Mahas are starting to pull back. So when you lose, it's like, oh, what the hell? We can lose 10%, 15%. Well, that's when you start losing that type of numbers in your voting bloc, even though that's what puts you over in 24, that's what ends up losing your elections in 26. Just deliver the bad news to the room. I mean, it could change around. Don't ever count Trump out. Let's be optimistic.
What can change around the economy? How can that happen when the man, since he got in office in 2017, took something that was, or inflation was already a problem, and he caused hyperinflation? How do you repair that?
Inflation was not a problem until COVID. Come on, Charlie.
No, it became, and who was the progenitor of that? And mind you, this is before, of course, the things he was doing before 2017. Let's deal with 2020. I mean, who signed it? Who signed in the CARES Act? And who caused mass printing of money through the stimulus packages? Joe, was that Joe Biden? Was that Obama? Hell, was that retard president George W. Bush, or was it fucking Trump? It was Trump.
Shutting down cities, doing lockdowns. It was Democrats. It was also some Republican local politicians that when you shut down a city, you shut down your economy in that city. So the worst thing that ever happened to our country was the lockdowns.
Okay. And he signed off on it. And Joe signed off on it.
How necessary?
Okay, so he was the one that went in, right, of a virus that has a 99.9% survival rate, okay, and basically allowed these lockdowns to ensue, and also too being the so-called father of the vaccine in creating Operation Warp Speed. And through the vaccine, they gave people a reason to do what? To put stipulations. You can't come in the store without a mask. You can't come to shit. God knows what Bible study. I don't know. I guess that's what them Christian church and Christians were doing. You can't come to Bible study unless you was jabbed up and booster shotted up. He was the one that started that shit. You know, Biden did the shit, same shit too. But he
the policies in California were enforced by California, right?
yeah, you could say that, but the president was created by the president.
How were the policies in California created by the president, Char?
Well, I mean, Ron, he created. My point is, Joe, he created the president.
You
He literally created. He literally created the president.
The states, so many health powers would reside in the state itself. That's how they got away with it. Like health powers paid to do so.
Look, I'll try to make your point that you should have argued, but you're too low IQ to make. Is you should have said that, well, Trump didn't come out on a stark contrast when the state were locking down. And he didn't get out and do enough messaging to stop the lockdowns from occurring. Because he didn't cause the lockdowns to occur.
Definitely.
So, I mean, see, this is where, if anything, the only thing the Republicans got going for us is people like Char right here. that's the only thing we got going for us.
Good point. I mock Republicans and Democrats. All you guys are fucking psychopaths.
You can't really make solid arguments that you can relate to.
Solid arguments is like you can't even address the fucking CARES Act that he signed in, which was says $69 trillion wealth transfer of money that we've ever witnessed. And also through that, the stimulus packages that cause massive amount of printing of money. Like, how do you get around that? Like, you're talking, I mean, because my point, Joe, is that you said, how do we get out of this situation? Well, of course, America before Trump was already on a bad collision course
but I never
anyway.
said that, Char.
But he created hyperinflation through the shit he was doing in 2017, 2018. Yeah, we made money during that time, but at the same
inflation in 2016 and 2017.
There was hyperinflation that
no, there wasn't. You better go.
There was a lot of money that was printed during that time.
We didn't see significant inflation until 2021, Char.
Yeah.
Now you can attribute it to Trump's
started
policy.
significantly summer of 2021.
Yeah, it was off the chart.
Yeah, I remember I was calling my dad and I'm like, what the fuck? Groceries are so expensive, in the grocery store.
So inflation
Inflation was at 1.3% and 2.1% 2016 and 2017, so there was no hyperinflation.
There's multiple factors that went into the inflation, though. Like, it wasn't just domestically. Like, we had terrorists literally, tearing apart our fucking merchant vessels that were trying to bring us, all of our shit here, and that cost us a lot of fucking money in that same time period, which added to that.
Char, let me give you some advice, bro. Like, study up a little bit on what's happened over the last decade. Get some solid arguments. If you're going to spike the football when polling isn't looking favorable for Trump in the midterms, get your talking points down, bro, and you can come in here and you can school us.
You haven't addressed it. You
follow someone Joe's saying. He literally said that Trump is in trouble. He has some points to be made. Like, you literally can just follow that playbook and do really well on this app. But the problem is, you guys all do this stuff where you're off in la la land. It makes no sense, and you're actually creating more voters for Republicans. Again, that's how Trump won last time.
Are you
serious? You guys are his best recruiters for voters.
Well,
honestly, if you guys just shut up, Trump would have lost the election.
these
I
fake
know.
ass
I'm just saying in
elections.
general, not you. I'm just saying in general, but you don't help either. But I'm just saying, like, if you all just went on mute, Trump probably would have lost this election for all we know. You guys just like brought in thousands of new voters. It's supposed to be horrible. Like,
Yeah, I don't see
crazy
this.
stuff was coming out.
You do see it. Donald J. Trump is the president. You do see it.
Yeah, he was put in there. He was selected. He wasn't elected. Like your votes don't fucking count. Your votes are nothing but census. The fuck?
And I love that you're not going to.
We just elected a decentralized nature. Of course our votes count. In a state.
Your votes don't count. Like stop.
Yes, they do.
Like, all these elections are fucking rigged scripted all right.
I have a question. Have you ever, I don't know, maybe worked an election? You think they're rigged. So how do you work them? Have you worked an election that give you experience?
I don't believe in this bullshit fucking left-right paradigm where you have to vote.
Statement without any evidence to back it up, and without any intellectual curiosity to figure out whether
Let's see, 2000. Yeah, let's see, the 2000 election.
I mean, he did win the popular vote.
Yeah, fuck the yeah. What is that? And that's the point. What the fuck does that mean?
That means majority of America is voting for him.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? You can win the popular vote, but if you don't win the electoral, that means jack shit.
Right, but I'm saying like but the popular vote
measure of affection.
Right, but I'm saying that also implies that a majority of America is one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's based off of the paradigm that was going on, right? Because it's like a teeter-totter, right? You go to left, people don't like
I'm able to
it. You go
create
to
a
right,
liquidate,
people don't like
destroy the
it.
pension
Right?
fund management account, and
before
save square
you
before you
just
land your
challenge
asset
the
management
elections
fees.
rigged?
Pension contributors receive a liquidation of assets
Well, I
check,
think that's
and
the
all
part
future
about
pension
voting.
contributions will no
Where
longer
you
be managed by unfunded investment
you
benefit.
I don't know, volunteer in one to give yourself some first-hand
How the fuck
experience
would
on how they actually work.
So, but we need to know first. Shar, do you vote?
No, I don't fucking vote.
Okay, so there we go. Why are we?
Oh, never mind.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm the smart one. Why would I sit up here and engage in election, Ann? Why would I engage circus, Ann? I watch the circus. I don't engage in it.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a good point. But by the way, you think this country isn't that great, right, Char? Just gonna put two and two together.
I think this country is a piece of it's a shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
What
a
other country
country
that
for like.
just real quick, just so I get an idea, what other like whether one's the like?
Let's see. I'd rather just live with the animals, man. And I have to.
Okay, when was this country?
Not an answer to the question. Which country
Did you just come in here to trauma dump? Is that
Wait. I just want to know, when did you think the country was good? Yeah, Peter, you got to fix whatever you got going on there. Char, when do you think the country was great?
Let's see, the country. I mean, if you're talking about financially, all the other stuff, I mean, decades ago, but I don't think this country is great.
Decades ago? Do you have like a time frame, like a year?
Let's see. Little after the Depression, maybe 50s, 60s, 70s.
The 60s and 70s. So like Vietnam War era, post that, Carter administration.
50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah, gas lines.
If you're talking about its peak, yeah. But then again, I mean, its peak was probably during its inception and a little after. To be honest with you.
If you accredit the 50s, 60s, and 70s, what was the white population voting bloc in that period of time? Do you know?
Oh wow! So now you're bringing up the white population. What for? What?
Just to let you know, the white voting population was 90% of the electorate in that time period.
Yeah. So when he said when this country was great, I'm talking about its economic power overall. So that was my point.
When the
this
white
country,
voting bloc was 90%.
I don't argue that this country is a piece of shit to begin with.
Then why are you still here?
Why am I still here? Because my ancestors used to be here.
Okay, but you hate this country.
You know?
Yes, why?
I mean, that's like
No, but
you know,
like I
oh,
can't imagine
you know,
that I hate and not doing anything about it.
I don't. I mean, I can be here because I understand what this country is, who runs this country, who runs the world. I understand all this shit. So why the fuck would I want to leave and go to another country when
But
I'm
do you
working?
hate it? And who? I mean, that's.
Oh, I mean, I hate this global system, man. This global
I
system
mean,
is
so
ran.
you could just go live in the wilderness, but you're not though. You're on Clubhouse.
Yeah, very much might as well live in the wilderness, so I don't have to deal with this red and blue, left,
But
right,
you're not though. But you're not though.
lunacy. You know what I
But
mean?
I know. You could, but you're not.
I
Though is the
could,
point.
but I'm not because I have work to do. You dig what I'm saying?
What does that work? What does that work?
Let's see, doing the Lord's work. Let's just put it like.
You could do the Lord's work in the wilderness.
Wait.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I feel like you're just like one of those people that just like trauma dump between providers.
Oh, I don't trauma dump. I just call it what it is.
No, because you're like complaining about the system, but you're not really doing anything against the system.
Oh,
I've
done a lot of different things against the system. When you
like
put
you
out
could do, you
the
could literally
people
go do the Lord's work in another
Rashad,
country.
because you work, you were a mercenary for this military, the industrial complex, right, Rashad? I don't sit up here and I don't think that you're gonna understand.
And disrespect American veteran on stage.
I just said that he's.
No, you are not.
I mean, you funded them. I mean,
The mayoral decree will liquidate the Chicago Pension Fund managed by Callan Corporate, save shipbuilders 48 million a year, asset management fee.
I'm not disrespecting him. Listen,
Oh,
I'm
I
saying.
second that.
You did. Are you going to tell me what I thought is wrong?
Okay, how did I disrespect him? But saying that he was a.
Girl, please, you better
This
sit down.
goes
I mean, like, so to answer though, right? Like,
When you're a military personnel, you literally are a mercenary for that particular military industrial complex.
I know, but you funded though too though. So
Wait, if I'm a mercenary, if Rashad and I are mercenaries, you voted for that. You acquiesced.
I didn't vote shit.
Yeah, you did.
you pay taxes, right?
I'm taxed. Yeah, you damn right I'm taxed. So
Right. So and that's what I'm saying. So you choose to be a cog in the system. Well, stay with me real quick. I get it. You hate America. We're not here to change your mind. I'm just getting you to understand your place in. I'm getting you here to understand your place in this system, right? So check me out. You say you could live off the grid, but you refuse to. That means there's some part of this system, this indoctrinated system, that even has a hold on you, and you refuse to detach yourself from it. And the false premise you do to explain why you haven't detached yourself from your system is your religion. Well, that system of religion is still the white man's religion, right? If it has anything to do with God, then it is the white man's religion, because that was what our ancestors were introduced to, right? They believed in Christianity, but it came across when we were all slaves. So some part of that white man's system, even Christianity, has a hold on.
The mayoral decree will liquidate the Chicago Pension Fund managed by Callan Corporate, save 53 million a year, asset management pension contributors, with direct liquidation of assets. Sorry, Dad. I guess your pension.
Because at least one penny from my paycheck in some facet came from you, whether you want to take accountability or not.
Sorry,
Because you can
Dad.
remove yourself from this system by just living
Sorry,
off the grid,
Dad.
but you won't.
Check is in the mail.
So listen.
Sorry, Dad. Check is in the mail.
It's a position of
The
luxury
mayoral decree will
in which he doesn't
liquidate the
actually have
Chicago
to account
Pension
for anything he
Fund.
pays on this thing.
No. So I'm gonna answer Rashad. I mean that was a load of bullshit, Marshall. You're better than that. But anyways, Rashad, listen, right? You say all these things, and then you sit up here and act like, oh well, you can live off the
Sorry,
grid, you
Dad.
can
Check is
go
in
out,
the
but you
mail.
don't do it. Well, like I said, I'm doing the Lord's work. I have a mission that I'm supposed to accomplish, which is doing certain things with the scriptures, right? Understanding what's about to happen to this country And to the inhabitants of this country, who knows, I might be a part of that. I don't know. I have a invested interest in carrying out my mission, spirit. So with that being said, right?
Sorry
You're
guys,
saying
check
that
this
this
in
is
the
the white
mail.
man's religion. That's what you were talking about.
Go do that in the
Go
Middle
do
East
that in the Middle East.
if you want to if you want to fuse your scripture, and that's what you're driven to do. And if you think America is this terrible fucking place, then
Char,
do that in the Middle East.
Char, what religion?
For what? My people
Char,
are not in the Middle East. So
wait,
why would
Char,
I go?
what religion is it? Char, what religion is it? Christianity?
No, it's not Christianity.
What is it?
Think it is, Rashad.
I know I'm trolling them. What is it then? Tell me.
Let's see.
You gotta think about it.
The
That's pretty
truth
terrible.
of the Bible that pertains to the blacks and indigenous
Wait, I know what part of what Bible? The King James version?
Let's see the King James version. Let's see the original
Do you read the
Hebrew
King
version
James
of the
version?
Bible.
Wait, Char, you
Let's see
read the King
according
James version?
to the Torah, according to archaeology,
Which one do you read?
history.
Which one do you read?
Let's see. I have the King James 1611. I have.
You have the King James version. You have the white man's Bible.
Version. I have the
Wait, Char. I know you have the white man's version.
Yeah, the King James wasn't a white.
So you subscribe. Wait. So in some facet, you are.
King James literally looks like fucking.
I know. Wait, you have to agree with me that you subscribe to a part of this society.
That you're talking about Christianity, modern. Wait, hold up, Rashad, real quick. Don't please just listen. You're talking about modern Christianity, right? You're talking about Americanized Westernized Christianity. That's not what I believe in. And also too, the Bible that you're talking about, that was a translation of the Hebrew text, and the Greek text of the New Testament has absolutely nothing to do with the Western mindset that you're thinking of when it pertains to the concept that people believe in over here. Even the concept of Christianity that you believe in was not the Christian concept of Christianity that was formed almost all fucking millennia ago.
Wait, okay, Char, I would ask you this,
Sorry
right?
Dad, check is in the
If you
mail.
believe, right?
Okay, John, you're spewing lies, and I want to know what Bible you got this idea something is going to happen to America in the Bible. I want the reference, and I highly believe you do not have that. You can't get it. It doesn't exist.
Char, if you subscribe to this.
Are you a Christian?
I don't like to say Christian because to be like Christ is what the definition of a Christian is, and that's impossible. So I try to be like Christ. I just say I am spiritual. Thanks.
So,
Char,
I'm gonna answer real quick, and I got you, Rashad. I'm gonna just answer. So yeah, just real quick, since you're pretty much you're basically saying that you're a Christian. Yeah, Babylon the Great is the same. Babylon the Great is America.
You don't deserve the truth.
Okay, I mean it literally talks about the attributes of America that Babylon the Great, pretty much is. And Babylon the Great, right? The modern day Babylon, which is America,
America
which
kills looking to display the pension fund balance by calendar book for associates over
I mean, yeah, the Vatican controls America. The Vatican
controls pension liquidation check.
Well, now you're getting on another topic because you know I'm speaking the truth.
Sorry to
and
check
you're
this in
going
the
to.
mail.
Oh, I mean, the Vatican's definitely. The Vatican is a false prophet. I got you. Well, the Vatican is the major religion.
Thing goes into action, but no, it does not say what's going to happen to the U.S.
U.S. is about to
You
get
made that.
Listen, no, I know the Bible didn't. The Bible said it. And it's not just America. A whole bunch of countries are gonna get nuked. What do you think? Why do you think all that shit's going on over there, Lisa?
I don't know. Maybe people like you put propaganda out there, and I don't think urge everyone on to be radicalized.
Actually, I don't think that you answered it.
Radicalized? What are you talking about?
Shar, she asked you a question. You still haven't answered it. So
Which,
in
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm referring to, I mean, look, the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter. Also, too, it's also in Isaiah that. No, it's not. Lisa, it's not going to say the United States. I'm talking about Babylon the Great.
What do you want? King James version? You want the King James version? And
I mean, I can read whichever version you want me to read, but
no,
yeah, I mean,
will, because who knows what the hell book you have been reading.
okay.
Because I heard whatever you said it was, it's not a Bible. So I'll just get that for you.
Yeah, my only point is that like his justification, he tries to detach himself in an almost holier than thou perspective, but he's not really fooling anyone in the room. Like if you subscribe to the King James version, we all know that the King James version is also an edited translated manuscript, right? And a lot of times they found out that when you think about the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Enoch, a lot of these things coincide with the King James version. Literally, the stories almost go hand in hand. Some of them are, they explain them in continuity, right? Yes, but you subscribe to the King James version. And my thing was, he said simply a translation. And when objectively, even if you're ignorant to this vibrato or narrative he's pushing, like from just an information perspective, you can see that okay, the King James version is indeed an edited, white man edited translation. It's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's
No,
not
the
the
fuck it's
mission.
not. Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, listen. So if the book look, the only thing is you're saying that the King James version is a legit translation when it's not. Even some of the names that are applied to the King James version are not in the original manuscripts. They just put names with those people, and we didn't question it and ran with it. There are people in the Bible in the original manuscript before the King James version that literally do not have names, Char. If you are actually a Christian, you would know this.
I'm not a Christian. I'm a believer in the scriptures.
Right, but if you believe in the scriptures, then you should know this. That is gross
I'm not a
that you
modern
don't know
Christian.
that. Wait,
Rashad, real quick.
listen. You know that. Why don't you know that?
No. You said you made a okay. Real quick, you made a claim.
You know Revelation so well. What does it say? The second last verse of the Revelation.
I can't.
Say it right now. Everyone knows that verse.
Lisa, we can deal with Revelation 17. We can deal with Revelation 17.
It's
The only begotten child of Osiris, thy father. Lisa, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Revelation. You're talking about the blood waters. You're talking about place like the earth, the prince in drawing. Right? First of all, you said that. Let me just answer your side. I got the KJ's Bible. Because he literally asked me, he literally said something, okay? Oh, by the way, KK, you know MAGA, right? Is the fifth degree, the highest degree of the church of Satan, right? You know MAGA, literally, is the fifth degree of the highest degree of the church. No, I mean, no, I understand symbolism, KK. See, here's the thing, I just realized. The only begotten child of Osiris, thy father, and Isis, thy mother.
Back to the title.
Let's
get back to politics.
Yeah.
Instead of religion.
So I will say there is something.
Good.
All I'm gonna say, Joe, because this was to you. You didn't answer the CARES Act. You didn't answer the mass inflation in 2020, and you always duck that shit, and you'll call me a lunatic because you know that
There was no mass inflation in 2020.
Yes, it was with
No, it was
Trump.
2021.
Consider yourself
Yeah, that happened. The shit that happened to you.
consider
That's
yourself
the question, though. The question.
do you consider yourself a
Self
prophet?
a prophet.
Hey yo, I actually got some news that's heartbreaking, yo. I think this is more important. I need everybody to be sitting for this because I don't even know how to unpack this, so I'm gonna just throw it out there and whatever happens, happens. Moderators, I want to thank you for the space you so eloquently provided. Delta will no longer offer free snacks or drinks on all flights under 349 miles. Oh my God.
For the spirit part, though.
This is what, and this right here is what Char's talking about, the fall of America. It starts with the Delta snacks. First it starts there, and then it teeters down from there. This is where I didn't know. I'm a believer. Wait. I'm a believer. Listen, there has been no time in history, in American history, where Delta charged for free snacks. They were free for a reason. You had options. Listen, you had options. Cranberry, orange juice, Sprite. I used to get the cranberry with no ice, so my blood pressure could get higher. And you know the dopamine effect. Now, when I go on there, I gotta pay. This is a travesty. This is crimes against humanity. I was for the Trump administration, but now this is the line far too gone. They've crossed the line. We can never go back. Get them out of there. I'm with Char.
Do you know how long that is? 349 miles for an
Don't bother to vote in any election.
It's
What is
like
That's
that?
the weirdest shit in the world in the drug administration.
It's like 45 minutes to an hour.
I know, but like, so let's say I'm flying from Texas to Virginia to see my mother, and I fly Delta.
Well,
Am I getting free snacks or not?
Yes, that's more. It's more than 349 miles.
Are you sure? Are you lying to me? Are you lying to me?
I just looked it up. 349 air miles.
Wait. So you telling me? Hold on. Stay with me real quick. So if it's a connecting flight, am I getting free snacks on my second flight or not?
If it's less
Be honest.
than, no. If it's more than, yes.
Wait. That's impossible then. Most flights are connecting flights.
Most flights are longer than.
Most flights are one-way flights.
For sure, to help you out. It's because they can't make it. The flight attendants can't make it all the way to the cabin before they'll have to sit down.
Thank you to American.
Sorry, Dad. Check is in the mail. By mayoral decree, they will liquidate the Chicago Pension Fund managed by Callan Incorporated. Save.
We are $38 trillion in debt. So you have to look at that as the United States credit card, except we only make $5 trillion in income.
conservatives, but
Nigga, fuck it. 7-7. Nigga, fuck it. 7-7 colors. I move my ass to Cali with my Indiana bucket. I need to slap a wet one on the frame, a little rusty. They call my shit a scraper and the beta bitches love it. And I'm choking on some Cali good. The one the tools of Crenshaw. Since a little nigga watching boys in the hood. Since Ricky got killed, copping that cornmeal. Before the palm trees, pussy in the recording years. I was overdue for a visit. A daddy bitch with family in the shadow, me the digits. The 818, the sex was great, perfect the art of fornication. Put a bitch out the car for a bar, no Cali conversation. All my hoes from way back, want me to be chillin' but they yet. She down until I die, but bitches niggas what I think at. My children gon' be raised there, but they gon' place my grave.
this is fully operational. There's a load in here right now. The load is a
Nigga, fuck it. 7-7 colors. I move my ass to Cali with my Indiana bucket. I need to slap a wet one on the frame, a little rusty. They call my shit a scraper and the beta bitches love it. And I'm choking on some Cali good. The one the tools of Crenshaw. Since a little nigga watching boys in the hood. Since Ricky got killed, copping that cornmeal. Before the palm trees, pussy in the recording years. I was overdue for a visit. A daddy bitch with family in the shadow, gave me the digits. The 818, the sex was great, perfect the art of fornication. I'm snake. I ain't too discreet, they told me, stepping on shit my lane.
Oh, I love your car. What do you do for a living? Yeah.
Scan this right here.
Scan this.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this?
Email, my Snapchat, everything's gonna pull up.
Wait.
One of those, bro, if you want to get rich.
Wait, what is that on your wrist? What is that? I'm a business owner too.
This is what you just scanned.
This is going to be a very important part of our investigation, and it's also really important that we hear directly from survivors. And so at the center.
Strike the master chord. Draw the flaming.
I get up at, say, 6:15. I work till 7 o'clock. I go work out till 7:45. I try to do 45 minutes of hard cardio every day. I get in front of the screens for the opening. I typically won't have any meetings till 10 o'clock, and then I'll probably do meetings till about 12 o'clock. Typically have lunch with someone, have a meeting after lunch, try to make sure that I've got an hour before the close and an hour after the close to be able to map out what I want to do the next day. Because again, I want to have a plan, as well as like what's going to happen that night in Tokyo, Hong Kong. I go home around 5, walk with my wife for an hour, go up work for an hour, come back down and eat. I'll normally watch the news and the most mindless entertainment that I possibly can. I used to read a book and a half a week, and then once the internet came, forget it. I'm so tired of reading at nighttime. I've read one book in the last year, which is going to be, by the way, I recommend everyone read it. It's David Wood. He's a kind of a newsletter writer, but he has written what's going to be a spectacular bestseller on globalization markets. It's fantastic. And I'll bet you it gets made in Netflix series. I bet you it's going to be a banger. Anyway, I'll try to watch.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman. Maybe that Jeffrey Epstein just had a completely different life that he just did not tell you about. And it may also have included being a spy. I mean, clearly.
Telling me that he worked for the Mossad would have given him a get out of jail free card. I could have gotten him no jail time. If he had told me he worked for the Mossad, for the CIA, it would have been a slam dunk for me to go to whoever I had to go to, even up to the President of the United States. And I would have gotten him a deal with no time at all.
Hang on a second. You mean if he said he was working with the Mossad or CIA, then he would get off being a pedophile?
That's right.
Julian!
Hello?
I get up at
Pro-life, baby! America first, America only! We'll see you here, February 7th, Saturday, 12 noon, outside the ministry.
This stupid device.
What happens when you have sort of the jerk question? Can you actually be a good guy, or you really have?
Strike the master cold.
Sort of the. Sort of the. Sort of the jerk.
We've been together 18 months, and I've taken 3 days off, and he's taken 3 days off.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Not bad. That is better than we have a philosophy. If it ends in Y, it's a work day. But we met one of the investors, introduced us, and I did a 60-minute Zoom with Jimmy, and he had just landed from doing a charitable project in Kenya, and he was in a Walmart. And you would think that's kind of normal. And he's being flash mobbed in a Walmart while he's
I don't fault Truman for dropping the nuclear bomb. The U.S.-Japanese War was one of the most brutal wars in all of human history. Kamikaze pilots, suicide, unbelievable. What one could criticize is that the human race prior to that time and today has not really grappled with what are, I'll call it the rules of war. Was there a rule that said you shouldn't bomb, shouldn't kill, shouldn't burn to death 100,000 civilians in a night? LeMay said if we'd lost the war, we'd all have been prosecuted as war criminals. And I think he's right. He, and I'd say I, were behaving as war criminals. I don't fault Truman for dropping the nuke.
Give me 90 days.
What is the difference between your position, I mean, and it's a tight one, and I'd like you to do it.
Stand up. Stand up and face the other way. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's not going to hear you well. Turn around. We just want you to put. We just need you to get in the handcuffs, okay? Hey, have I been fair to you? No. Yes. What do you think?
What is the difference between...
And I'll give you 100 million.
What is the difference between your position, I mean, and it's a tight one, and I'd like you to do it. I think 3 quotes will suffice. Yeah. Between your position and anti-Semitism. The first quote was Bellevue, Manchester, where you said, "The mention of the empire makes the mob yell louder than ever. Let them destroy it if they can, these Jewish rascals. The red mob howls that we shall put them down. They're right, we shall put them down.
And Chavshus means free.
Up." Then
Free
there was
choice.
this one in 34.
It's 2 words. Bechira, choice. Chavshus, free. Free will.
You don't believe in free will, you believe in free choice.
I believe in what the Jews have taught me God granted us as a gift. I do not believe that selecting a smooth brand of peanut butter versus a chunky brand of peanut butter is utilizing your capacity for free will.
That actually might be determinism as well. Your very nostalgia experiences, your parents that you were born in, if they couldn't afford getting you caviar, if they got you the cheap peanut butter, you developed an attachment to that nostalgia.
That wouldn't be determinism. That wouldn't be where I would say free will is accessing. I would say free will accesses at the hinge point of like the 2 operating systems of humanity. The difference between utilizing their mind, which is why I gave the example of the bank robbery, right? We tell people, I know you want this, I know you can do this, you can plan this and pull this off. We're telling you to stop. We're telling you don't do it or else we're going to punish you. We're telling you we'll go punish everyone that was involved. We make all these threats. Why? Because you're free within your head to plan the bank robbery. You can. That is like the canard of free will. And why I'm pointing out the crime when you actually hurt people, when I point out free will, is it's really the hinge point of your capacity to plan, to understand the entirety of the universe with your mind, and your animalistic desire to just like get hungry and get laid. And the thing is, when your animalistic desire is confronted with a choice that your mind thinks is wrong, you, as a human, strangely, have a choice, and you can side with one or the other.
Yeah, it's like before you even have a choice, a free will. Like you have a will that you can will yourself to make one decision over the other. Not like okay. Have you ever heard of Charles Whitman? Is that his name, Carlos? The Texas like clock tower shooter guy. Is that his name? Have you ever heard?
We're just gonna keep using examples.
There's been so many mass shootings, I can't.
No, okay, all right. Have you ever heard of this guy, the clock tower, like Texas University shooter?
I've heard of the clock tower guy.
Okay, like the guy with the tumors. You heard it?
The guy with the tumors that committed murder and then they got rid of the tumors.
Okay, so there's this guy. He was a normal guy his whole fucking life. Maybe. So he was a regular guy his whole life. Up until I don't know 9 months or something before he committed a fucking school shooting at some like university in like Texas. He kept a journal and everything. In his journal for like 9 months prior to this, he was like writing down like what was going through his head. He was writing down crazy shit like I can't control myself. I can't control these thoughts. Like he couldn't control like when he was writing his journal basically, and he would write that in his journal. And even in his journal, he wrote. It's like he knew, like he was getting these impulses that he wanted to kill people and shit. He knew he was gonna end up doing it. So he even wrote in his journal. After if I go through with this shit, please examine my brain. There's something wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but please examine my brain. And then the day came, he went up to like some clock towers at University of Texas, shot a bunch of people. I think he got killed then, like at the shootout or whatever. They found his journal, read it, like the detectives, read that he wrote, examine my brain, I can't control my thoughts, this and that. Like I'm being like forced to do this against my will. I don't want to do this, but I can't control my thoughts. And he said, check my brain if I go through with this shit. And then so that they sent him to an autopsy, they scanned his brain,
and found like this gigantic fucking tumor had developed that was like pressing on his amygdala or whatever the fuck, like the part of the brain like responsible for like impulse control and all this shit. And so he was right. There was something in his brain, fucking determining him to have all these crazy fucking thoughts that he couldn't control. And he was right. And the whole point of like determinism, the reason like the guys that talk about this use this example, is that they say ultimately it's determinism is as if all our choices were all a bunch of it's tumors all the way down, bro. Like the turtles all the way down. It's like these fucking metaphorical tumors all the way down.
I mean, your brain does sound like a tumor.
Wait, you just explained of tumors all the way
The
down.
experience of free choice is mostly like attributed to the lack of knowing.
Something good.
Yeah, I'm adding. I am with you on the experience. I'll tell you why. I'm not. I don't think CM is a hard determinist either, right?
No,
These
but
are
that's
follows.
beside the point. We're talking about just basic.
Right.
determinism.
Okay. So the action, like the experience of free choice, is an act of like actualizing that potential, whatever it may be, the desire, the will, the agency that one experiences while like accomplishing something, etc. So the act in itself is a very real act, right? In the grand scheme of things, that act is nothing without its source existence. That which, for a theist, like this would be the explanation. All comes from divine will, and all that man does is in accordance to that. So in reality, it is only divine will that is doing the thing. That has ontology, right? Or whatever. You ever call it source, or just that which is determined. Yeah. So I'm trying to explain it. I'll explain through both perspectives, with or without jokes, right?
Great. I like great. Great.
So makes sense.
No, that's right too.
Yeah, so the blueprint is yours. CM, can you just mute up a little bit? The blueprint is yours, right?
How this guy has like a tumor pressing on his amygdala or whatever in his brain that like caused him to do this fucking shooting that he couldn't even explain.
Yeah, we've been here trying to speak for a long time. Okay, continue. Yeah, you continue.
Again, this idea of its tumors all the way down, it's like it's as if I had metaphorical tumors that like caused me to wear these brown shoes today, bro. Like I had the illusion. Yes, I went to my closet and I went eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I wore these shoes last week and those the week before, so today I'm gonna wear these. All of that was determined. All of it. It was tumors. Tumors is what caused me to wear these brown shoes today, bro. Fucking.
You're using tumors instead.
Yeah, let's not go that far. Let's not go far.
Yeah, you're using tumors when there's a simple experiment, right?
Hold on. Please, I've been trying to say something for like last.
Yeah, what is it, Carlos?
Yeah. So let's not say it's tumors all the way down, but at least with CM's example, the shooter, he had an actual tumor in his brain. To make the question.
Metaphorical.
Sorry, hold on.
Like does that guy have will?
Hold on. I haven't answered the question yet.
Oh, yeah,
so
sure.
the question to you, Mixed, would be, was he responsible for his actions? That's the question.
Yeah, but that's directly related, yeah.
Right, that's a fair question. And it's, I'd say there's like a two-way answer. For like, one answer is a person who isn't able to control themselves because of some disease or illness that's beyond his control is not responsible, per se. However, there are, like, investigations. Like, if the guy hadn't survived, let's say, and he does go to trial, and we have 9 months of journals with him, like, recording this, it depends on what those journals show and like what kinds of steps he took at that time. We might hold him morally responsible at the time that he knows he's planning a mass shooting and that he's having trouble controlling himself and he doesn't seek medical attention. Like there are certain instances of like, let's say a person is prone to seizures and they're driving in the car and the seizure happens and they crash and cause someone bodily harm. Now, are they responsible when they did the seizure? No. But were they responsible when they got in the car knowing that they were prone to seizures? If they knew that, then yes, we can hold them responsible for that, because that was when they were still making choices. So, like, it's a complicated answer because it's a complicated issue of like some guy whose brain maybe like half of it was bitten off or he was infected with a disease. There's many diseases that cause insanity. But like in such a case, we can investigate the moral culpability, and we usually look for the standard average person when you had the capacity. And if you didn't have that at the crucial moment, then we remove responsibility from you because we say that you were controlled by this malevolent force, the illness, the insanity.
So I think
and there are defenses for that claim. But broadly speaking, we're going to hold you responsible as best we can. And the instance of like someone who's sick, or here's another fun example: if like someone picks up a human being and uses that person to like push someone off a cliff, right? The guy who was swung at the other person like a bat, that second guy, he's not responsible because he was used as a weapon. His intention was not anything. It was the person holding him that had the intentionality. So like we look to where the free will choice was made in any criminal activity. And also, like, in culpability, responsibility, for our own, like, sense of understanding and improvement. We take responsibility for the things we had control over that we could have been aware of, that we will be aware of in the future. It's just kind of the way our minds work. Free will is a part of how we process things.
Yeah, the problem is that if we determine that the amygdala was responsible for that guy's thoughts and actions, and then you're going to say, well, he wasn't actually responsible then that's just going to be a weakness of your position. Because you're essentially, because your principles of like accountability fall apart as soon as you realise.
When there's an illness of some type, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But whereas before, you accuse this guy of making free will controlled choices.
Yeah, I still do that.
There was no control. So you would have been wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. How am I wrong?
This is the problem with dualism too. This is the problem with dualism too, because despite the fact that his compulsions were caused by a tumor pressing on his amygdala, right?
Debatable. It's a theory.
It's still his amygdala. It's still his
doesn't mean it
amygdala.
caused the
One
murder.
could argue that, like,
there are plenty of people that get tumors and don't murder people.
In front of the eyes of God,
Yeah.
God will judge him. He might not be responsible. That's up to God. But if society decides they want to take him out, regardless of this condition,
well, they did that to defend himself.
Hold on, makes sense. Like the point is, so he wrote a journal.
Exactly.
He wrote all that shit in his journal. Imagine he never would have wrote a journal.
See, the fact is he's dead. We don't know why or how exactly he did what he did.
He wrote a journal.
We have the
all that shit in his journal.
simplest
Imagine he never would have found the journal. You would have said he chose of his own
Here, you know what else we have when we have the journal, Sam? We don't have an actual criminal prosecution of someone trying to use that journal to defend against a murder charge. And we don't know what the verdict would actually be.
We're talking about philosophy, bro.
I'm not sure why a
so
tumor
much
would make
the
you get on the
fucking
tower.
Philosophy? You're telling me this guy has a tumor and he can't
Bro,
prove
you're
it.
going to get into particulars.
They did prove it.
You're saying the tumor caused the murder, CM. There's a causal relationship we're trying to draw between the tumor and the murder.
What if the tumor
And you have not demonstrated that.
Right? Let's say
the whole
it
point,
did cause
imagine
that.
everything was the same. He had
Even
the
the
tumor.
tumor,
He
like,
actually had the fucking tumor.
Oh, so now we're
And that's
imagining.
what caused
Okay, we're back in your imagination land.
You're giving him a complex,
But nobody
he's
would
gonna
have
hold
ever
on to
known.
particulars.
No, CM just likes talking about murderers, I guess.
Yeah,
Nobody
but-
would have ever known.
Who's got a problem
would
with
have
God?
said,
I don't
You're
know what's
watching
up.
it very apparently, right?
See, I'm worried
Nargi,
you got
shut the
that
fuck
shit.
up. Cindy, shut the fuck up. The whole point is,
What are you even
imagine
giving as
if he had the
examples?
fucking tumor the whole time, but nobody would have known. From your point of view, you would have said he did all of that shit of his own free volition, his own free will.
Why am I compelled to say that, CM?
No. Your model. How you understand.
Right, you're saying I'm compelled to say that. Why?
Because you would have said it had I not told you anything about the tumor.
No, I'm not saying it. By the way, that's partly why you talked so long. Like, as soon as Carlos asked me, I said, no, he had an illness. And then you could still find moral culpability depending upon how he treated his illness.
No, I know. The point, if you didn't know he had an illness, but he had an illness. Or
Then what?
So what?
The whole
Yeah,
point,
what does that matter, CM?
This is what I'm saying. This is the same shit, the same conversation from last time.
Yeah, let's say you had a disease that made you
fundamentally
crazy and then you robbed a
not,
bank.
like,
Why does that
correct
matter?
Something. It's hard to like pinpoint down because your little lawyer rhetoric.
What are you
Like,
talking
just-
about? You're literally dealing with my area of expertise, CM. I deal in free will.
It's like you're incapable of thinking about it philosophically, but you're just...
Maybe you can't think about it in human terms because you study too much math.
No, that's not what's going on.
I deal with free will. I hold people accountable to what they bind themselves to all the time.
You don't need to be a fucking math guy to like...
It seems like you don't understand free will.
Andrew understands.
Maybe you haven't had a contract. Maybe you haven't had a big decision in your life yet. I don't know.
Fucking irrelevant. And then you always...
Sounds like you don't have free will.
All your
you don't know what you're doing.
examples are
You're
fucking
just
irrelevant.
coasting along the universe, the waves, just wherever they pushed you. You have no control.
That's...
I'm telling you, you haven't lived enough life. When you're older, you'll realize that you have free will. It's fine.
He really needs to control though.
This is what I'm saying. This is where we got last time. It was so difficult to talk to him about this, because I don't know if he's Yeah, I think
keep
he's
explaining to
fundamentally
people how difficult it
misunderstanding
is for you
something.
to
I don't know
understand
if
free will.
Well, I think.
I don't know if it's on purpose or like he just. I don't know.
Hold on.
I think you might be brain
Yeah,
damaged.
he said one word, right? That points at his motivation, right? It's control, right? Now, human beings, if they feel like they don't have control over things, they start to become despondent. That's often the main cause of suicide, is feeling like you have no control over your life, right? The reality is that's just a mental state that you maintain in order to keep from wanting to kill yourself.
Do you have control over it?
You don't have control over anything, right?
So
you're
what
still, regardless
value
of what
is there to
you
discuss
feel like you're controlling it, right? Regardless, you're still doing the same thing. You're just surfing along with the experience. Like,
I think
so his convictions, his beliefs, what he holds dear, even regardless if he's on rail, do you not believe that these sentiments are truly his?
I actually went to see him when I said that he wants to be in control.
yeah, it's cool.
It's an illusion.
And somebody had a fucking match review, like...
The others refuse.
Yeah, so like dream states, for example. In a dream state,
Darkness, we don't need to have a